Hey everybody, it's Wild, and welcome to the second part of our Hollowknight Silksong tier list. Today is the boss tier list. Same thing as the crests and tools tier list. We're going to go through everything and have a discussion about their presentation, the soundtrack, the movesets, strategies that you could use to beat them that feel like fair, what works against them, what clearly doesn't. If there's any toxic game design, what makes them fun if they're engaging to play against and makes you want to fight them again and again, all that good stuff. I remembered something yesterday. I don't think I ever called. This is like an off stream thing. I was like, did I ever do that? But I never called the witch crest the Twizzler crest, which is weird because it's always been like the Twizzler crest in my mind, even though it's called the witch crest because, you know, little Twizzler. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. Get some music going on here. I might have to adjust the volume. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. It wouldn't be too much for a tier list. All right, let's start off with the Moss Mother. Now, this list doesn't have the double Moss Mother fight, so I feel like I should place this where I'd play like the double Moss Mother. I fought the first Moss Mother. I think it's like a very standard, like early boss, and I think the hardest thing about it is that you are not used to the pogo yet. On a second playthrough, you're used to the pogo. She's a complete joke, but I think the hardest thing about her is like when she does the skill where she like dives at an angle and then floats across the floor. You want to jump and then pogo on her, and you're gonna miss it and like eat hits. She's not hard at all, but I'm mostly talking about the duo Moss Mother fight. And the duo Moss Mother fight is actually pretty good, right? When I fought it though, I was under-leveled, or I don't think I had a single needle upgrade. And it took a long time, and I died a ton. I think I did it with Hunter Crest, just because I wanted to do it with Hunter Crest, because it was like the first boss and you were refighting it again. And I do think that it has like a really good moveset, even if it's really simple overall, but it has insane HP without the upgrade. But I guess you could say that against anything. I think the fight is pretty darn good. You kill the little guys that fall from the ceiling in 1 or 2 hits. You jump and pogo, and if you're using a pogo you're really comfortable with, which I was not with Hunter, I hardly ever used Hunter, so I never really got used to the diagonal pogo. I was fine with it, like I was decent with it, and obviously I beat these guys without leaving and getting the upgrade. But I think it was good. I don't think it was like a great fight. It was just like, you know, the first fight was a good introduction. The second fight like really helped you understand how the moveset was, like, made the moveset threatening, right? Put rocks from the ceiling, adds from the ceiling, added a second one. Sometimes I feel like the screen could have a little bit too much going on, but it was really just getting used to that pogo. I probably should rewatch my VOD of why I struggled against these guys so much, but I think it was just the length of the fight combined with like the double damage gimmick. Like the double, without the double damage gimmick, this boss would have been a lot easier. I think that's why I struggled so much. I don't even think it was its moveset. You could say that about a lot of the bosses. I actually don't think a lot of the bosses are harder than Hollow Knights. But you take double damage for everything, so it makes them immediately harder. But like, if you made all of Hollow Knights do double damage too, then maybe its were harder. So it's hard to grade them like that. Yo, what's up, Pure Watcher? Pure Watcher? You are truly pure for watching me. Actually based. You're just a tad late, like half second. We're just starting things off. I've decided this list does not have the Moss Mothers listed together, so I decided to sort of put the first and the second together as B tier. I think that's fair. All right, let's move to Lace. I think I fought the Bell Beast before Lace, right? You need to, don't you? To get into, okay, you need the gosh, what is the spell called where you throw the Silk Spear? Bell before Lace? Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, you need Silk Spear to break the beast, and then you free it, and that opens that path to the Bellway down to the... Yeah. Okay, so let's do Bell Beast first. I thought that was right. I don't think there's a way to even fight Lace first unless there's a skip that I'm not aware of. Because you can't get into Deep Docks without fighting the Bell Beast, I didn't think, but maybe you can. Okay, so Bell Beast. The Bell Beast, I think, is the first boss you fight with double damage. I think. I'm quite sure on that. I could be wrong. And that comes as a huge shock to the player. But I'm not going to really hold that against any bosses going forward because they all kind of do that. But that was a big shock to me. I think it's a really intimidating, like, early boss. And without the dash, I feel it's actually kind of confusing because when it does that, you don't know if it's going to rush towards you or jump. And you choosing the wrong action to try to, like, jump to move out of the way, you just get slammed by that thing. Moss Mother over Bell Beast? I think Bell Beast is a better boss, 100%. I think it's a better boss. But compared to the double Moss Mother fight, I don't think it has enough moves to justify that. So I don't think it's better than the Moss Mother overall. I guess it's really good for the early game. It only has, I think, like 4 moves. It has, from what I remember, it's got the leap, the rush. It can throw bells, and the way the bells function, I didn't really remember this, but they're very similar to how Widow pulls them down from the ceiling and they're bouncing all over the place. So it kind of teaches you a little bit of like other mechanics that bosses will use in the future. But it's a solid like early game boss. I could see giving it C just because of its simplicity though, because it really doesn't advance past there, does it? There's nothing wrong with it, and it's an early game boss though, so I don't want to like be too harsh on it. It's be like, yeah, C tier boss. The second boss you fight just isn't. There's not enough going on, right? Like that doesn't. If for what it does, I feel like it's B, right? For what it does. Plus you befriend the Bell Beast after instead of killing it, and it becomes your little Ada, right? It becomes your stag that transports you around the world, and I love it. Never seen you glare. Oh my gosh, Miroku. First of all, welcome, and second of all, I know we've already been through this. I need to open up a donut shop called the Hard Glaze, and I will have a donut that's called the Silksong if you'd like. I can't do that. It's copyright. I can't do that because it's copyrighted. Maybe I'll name it just the Silk, right? How come Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Lords don't get a tier list? I need to. I had so much fun. I've had so much fun making these tier lists. I definitely need to. I don't know why I didn't do it in the past. You guys should have like begged for it because I didn't know how much fun it would be. I need to do those 100%. I probably need to go back and rewatch the VODs because some of those have been a while. So much glaze from a game that didn't even... Yeah. That was kind of... I was hoping they'd win soundtrack. I was really hoping they'd win soundtrack of the year. That's not my fault, okay? I voted for it. And I voted for art too. Because I love Claire Obscure's visuals. But I think like the art direction and like the, you know... There's something about Hollowknight that's incredible. It did win Best Action Adventure. Yeah, that was a relevant category, and it did deserve that, but I thought it also deserved Art and Music. And then they could give Clair Obscur GOTY, because Clair Obscur was GOTY. I didn't do a tier list for Clair Obscur's bosses either. That could be fun. It wasn't one of the big categories. Action Adventure is pretty big, to me anyways. But those are like some of my favorite games, right? Almost always my favorites are like RPGs, like Action Adventure, and then obviously I wish it won soundtrack though, and probably art direction. Look at these bosses. The design. I didn't even talk about design of these bosses. The Bell Beast design and the Moss Mothers are so simple, immediately iconic. You know, those old like Ken Sugimori art style, like Pokemon, and you see them and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's, you know, you immediately know like what era it was. It's like you see these and you immediately know it's Hollow Knight just for seeing these like weird creatures. It's awesome. But yeah, the design of these is just insane. Like truly. Okay, let's move on to Lace. I've been looking at her for so long, but Lace is an incredible like first boss to like really kind of test the player. I feel like when I fought her, I used too many of the Sting shards. About halfway through I think after I beat the first Sinner, I basically stopped using tools on a regular basis altogether. Because I felt like they just kind of blew things up. I hadn't really figured that out when I fought Lace, and I got the Sting Shard. I don't remember even where I got the Sting Shard from. I got it before I got the pin, the throwing pin, and they messed her up. And the glaze is over 9,000. Maybe I don't know. I really like this game. How can you not love Silksong? It's so great. Like, I don't know. Now am I glazing Lace too much? Not this first version. This first version I feel is also like I can't give her C tier. I can't. She's at least B if not A. Once again, this is for like what she does, right? Wait, is there the rematch of Lace? Oh my gosh, there isn't. There's not the rematch of Lace in this tier list thing. What? For 20 bucks? Say it was great. Lace isn't going to let you tap, bro. Even if I glaze, probably not. Probably not. The sadness. But yeah, I forgot this game was only 20 bucks. How? Why? How and why? I think she's A tier, especially for the rematch, because it doesn't list her other one here, her rematch fight. So like, I was thinking of the OG version. The OG might even be A tier for early game, even though I killed her a little too fast with the Sting Shards. But the rematch against her, I'd say low A. I didn't like the counter. I don't like the parry. Didn't take enough effort to make? Wow. 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 Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so underhanded. Why? Why would you do that? The poor developers. They need to be defended. There's only like 2 of them, man. Come on, let them have it. I'm gonna stick her in A. I've already given my explanation or my feelings towards parries or like counters that bosses have. But if you're in a PvP game and you throw out a counter, it's high risk, high reward. You mess up and the enemy doesn't hit you or doesn't use a counterable move, you're punished, you lose a ton of HP. But when it's a boss doing it and they have like a ton of HP, it's not high risk, high reward anymore. It's like kind of a lower risk but really high reward where you can punish the player, and I don't like it. I don't like that. Silksong estimated development costs likely in the low millions. Really? It was that much? I mean, it was in development for what, like 7, 8 years? 7 or 8 years, something like that. Okay. But yeah, I don't like the counters, but I think everything else with Lace's moveset I liked. She was a little bit frustrating. But like, can you deny the moveset is A tier? I could even potentially say S, but I don't like the counter, right? I just feel like it's too cheeseball. And she can also sometimes like fly off the ledge of the map and then like just falls back in or something like that in the second time you fight her, which was also weird. I don't know. I think A is a good spot. She's not an S for me. She really isn't. All right, fourth chorus. Fourth chorus. Wow. This one's actually a little tough. I feel like it has such a good moveset. It's very simple though. It's, you know, one of the first like 3-4 bosses you fight in the game. You're mostly just jumping up and whacking it in the head and dodging some really well telegraphed moves. I don't think it's difficult enough, and I don't think its moveset has evolved enough to really push it. Allegedly, it was, but maybe they already made it and held onto it for 8 years. No, there's no way. Have you no, come on, man. There's no way Team Cherry would do that. There's no way, dude. Like, they're in it for the love of the game. They're in it for the love of the game. You gotta know. Come on, man. The shade. Did you go to school with one of these guys, like gaming school or something? Like they stole your lunch money? What's going on? I'm thinking fourth course for me is C tier. Am I wrong? Very low B. Can we say very low B? There's nothing wrong with it, but for where you fight it, I feel like it needed more moves. I didn't really die to it a whole lot. I don't know if I died to it at all. Did I? I don't think I did. Fourth course was taken down by the Pinterest in the far fields. And you can see this, wait, what? You can see the pin stuck in it before she wakes up. Oh, by the way, hello, Red Slaps. I'm glad you could make it today. But yeah, so the Pinterest was the first one to, okay, well, the Pinterest was way harder, like millions of times. So like, I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that, but yeah. I don't know. Everything's about to go B. Well, okay, the fourth course is like a B tier boss though, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not that special. I don't know. The other Pinterest? One that makes you the floating cloak? Oh. Oh yeah, this was her sister, right? They're sisters. I believe so anyways. Unless I'm way off on that. I'm pretty sure they're sisters though, that have like lost touch with each other. That makes sense though. Because the one gave up basically being a warrior to become the seamstress. Right. Right. That's actually pretty cool lore. Isn't he like also buried in rubble though too? That, I'm not saying that there's not a pin stuck in it, but I think he was also buried in rubble. Isn't there a DLC? Yeah, there is a DLC coming out for Silksong, and it's really funny because I've been playing Guild Wars for like ever. I don't really stream it a whole lot, but I've played it with friends for forever, and they have the Sea of Sorrows, which is this giant ocean connecting multiple different maps, and they're actually calling Silksong Sea of Sorrow, maybe without the S on the end, but like it's just so weird. I've never had a game named after like a location in another game before. It's so bizarre. But yeah, Sea of Sorrow. Like when I heard the name of that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so dumb. But it's only dumb because of like my experience, right? All right. But yeah, I'm definitely streaming that too. Like obviously, like it's Silksong DLC. How can I not? Savage Beastfly. This to me is the first C tier. It doesn't have the advanced versions of the Beastfly. Actually, you only fight it one other time, the lava version. And I don't particularly like the boss. I don't hate it either, but I don't like it. And the fight where it brings in ads, and oh my gosh, the ads suck so bad. I need to turn down the music. I feel like it's a little bit much. Like I have it at, look, I just want to be, like have that right balance. I don't know. But yeah, I hate the ads during the fight. It drives me kind of crazy. Its move where it flies, it's fine for me. Okay, we'll leave it as is then. The move where it flies across the screen, which is like one of its like two main attacks, right? I found it to be really awkward. So the first one it does, it like goes, I might have these reversed, but I think the first one goes low and you have to like jump over it. And then it'll do the same thing going across the screen again, but it goes high on purpose. And so if you try to like jump and think it's going to track to you, it's above your character. So you just stay on the ground and attack it upwards and it'll just float past you. However, if you were already in the air, sometimes it does its higher version first and then will sweep along the ground. And before I figured that out, I was really confused. The double damage makes it really annoying to deal with as well when it's like doing those things. And its hitbox is just absolutely massive. It's just such a fat bug. We didn't really talk about design too much on these, but like the design also isn't that good. It's just like a fat bug thing. Like it's not even that special. How do you even remember all of this like it was just yesterday? I don't know. I guess I was tormented. Some of these I don't remember too much. Let's see, what boss do I don't remember the Brood Mother all that well. Did I use tools on Brood Mother? Like I know some of her moves. I know there was a lot of ads and it was really annoying, but I don't remember that one as much. I don't know. I guess they were just that well designed that I remember a lot of them. Skull Tyrant, I actually don't remember him super well either. I think it just growled and ran at you though, didn't it? We'll get to that. Savage Beastfly though, both it and the rematch fight are annoying. Without the ads, the boss is way too easy. With the ads, you're dealing with enemies flying around trying to hit you with a boss, and there's weird overlap that they can do, which I don't think is intended. Especially when you do the rematch and there are those guys that spit the fireballs. Like, you're trying to dodge the fireballs and like the boss's moves. There's going to be at least one time when they overlap in a way that's not like realistic for the player to dodge. It's not designed super well. It's fat. It's like it takes up so much of the screen, so you take hits from its hitbox body. Like, I don't know. It's a C tier. It's not great. All right, Skull Tyrant. I love its design, but I think it might be D tier. Because, strangely enough, Miroku, you saying, how do I remember all of this? The only thing I remember this thing doing is charging at the player and maybe jumping. Does this thing do anything else? I think it just like rushes at the player and maybe like jumps or something. This might be the most forgettable boss in the game. I almost want to put it in the did not fight tier, but I know you have to fight a second one when it goes down into Bone Bottom and like destroys like the small town, right? So like I had to fight this thing twice and I still don't remember it. It's like one of the only bosses I legitimately just don't remember. I think it's D tier just because it's so simple and not engaging or fun. Like, it's not a fun fight, is it? I think it's memorable only because it destroys Bone Bottom. Yes. Yeah, it's that shock value of like you did all this building up of Bone Bottom. The pilgrims like that were living there weren't trying to make the ascent, but you know, they were safe enough. But there was always like looming threats, like not ascending was dangerous, but you never really felt it. And then the Skull Tyrant shows up and just everyone dies. But yeah, the actual fight itself is D tier. And his design's cool too. I do like the design, but I'm gonna leave him in D tier. Poor guy. First D tier. Sister Splinter. So Sister Splinter is weird. She's another boss that we'll see along with Fourth Chorus that sort of made a lot of decisions for me with the crests in the first tier list, because she is on the ceiling like 90% of the time. You can do enough damage to knock her down, but she's like on the ceiling most of the time, so fast attacks don't really help. But the thing that makes her really weird is that she's got those little spinny enemies, which I think design-wise, those are my favorite enemies in the game. By the way, like aesthetically, I love that enemy type. I think they're so cool. But oh my gosh, are they so annoying, where they turn into tornadoes and they deflect all of your attacks, becoming completely invincible. And if they hit you, they do double masks of damage. And she can summon up multiple of those in the fight at the same time and cage you off with those little like thorn things. I'm being stupid right now. Like the vines of thorns that she makes come down from the ceiling. Or are they coming up from the ground? I don't know. But there's like viney thorns that block off your path. And then she herself has like a really basic moveset where she'll just do a right or left claw slam. But it's so slow and she tries to track the player that you can just dodge out of the way. So she's not really that dangerous in her moveset. But she like overwhelms the player by making the arena smaller with the vines, and also by summoning up double damage ads. And if you can manage the ads, I think she's really easy. It's once again though, like the boss isn't difficult because of like a well-designed moveset. The boss is difficult because of like ads mostly. Even the battlefield control is fine. I think it's higher C for me. It's better than Beastfly. I think it's a better fight than Beastfly, but like it's not even like non-offensive. It's kind of annoying. You don't even get to enjoy just a good boss moveset. You have to worry about double damage ads that can deflect your attacks. And you have to fight her by jumping up and hitting her, so you have less normal opportunities to attack her, like just ducking and weaving and getting hits off. So I don't know. Not the worst, but not the best either. I think C is a good spot. Higher up than Savage for sure. Even design-wise, I actually think she's kind of cool. Not my favorite, but pretty cool. Alright. I'm pretty sure the next one I fought was the Morrowing, and since it's right here, I don't really care about order too much, but because I fought Morrowing, way earlier on in speaking of Greymoor, we've got, this is the Greymoor theme, I believe, right? Here, double check. It's not going in B. Yeah, this is the Greymoor theme. I thought I was right on that. I don't really like this fight. My biggest problem with it overall is something that I had problems with in boss arenas, but this boss doesn't really have like a normal arena and would constantly fly off the screen. I didn't even see it sometimes. I even remember how annoyed I was. Like, I was like, I can't even see what this thing is doing. And once you figure out like some of its moves, it's not too bad, but then it like goes into its phase 2 and there's something weird about like the blades where they like go a set distance and then like magic, like they turn into magic blades and sparkle with the power of fairies and then like loop back in on itself. And it was always really confusing when I had been fighting it, where it would shoot the blades on the ground and you would jump over them. But then during that second phase, it's like that they designed it so that they would magical fairy sparkle back around to it, jump off the ground for no reason, and they would hit the player when you jumped. So like you had to jump over it and then like either dash down, which I don't even think I knew that was a thing, or dash towards the boss when it does that curve. And why do they do that? Well, because you've been trained to dodge it by jumping over it. So it's like they take something that's inherent to learning the boss and then say, okay, don't do that anymore. We're going to punish you for doing the thing that we taught you how to do in the first part of the fight. And I don't like it when it does that, especially when they're magical, sparkly blades of death. That it doesn't justify it to do that. Like, they just wanted to trick the player and mess them up. That, and he flies off screen. Not a particularly good-looking boss either. Like, it's not a fun-looking thing. I think C. I think I like it less than Sister Splinter. I think it's a better boss than Beastfly, though, because there's more going on, right? There's more going on with the boss. It is a little bit more dangerous, I think, overall. More moves. It does look better than Savage Beastfly, but that's not, visually, but it's not saying much. So, yeah, I think another C tier is fitting. A lot of problems with that one. Not really a fan. Definitely nobody's gonna be defending it, right? Not really. All right, Widow. Wow, we're going through it because it's the Widow fight too, like the Widow fight theme. So Widow. Widow was like the first really actually hard boss in the game. I died to her a ton. I don't think I had fully figured out everything that the game was about at this point. Her boss fight is really good. Like, just right off the bat, let's just like rip the band-aid off. She's probably A tier at least, but maybe S. She tests the player in so many ways, but her moveset is pretty fair. I will say, I feel like her final phase where she goes nuts and starts pulling the orbs everywhere is a little bit frantic to a degree. I think maybe it's a little too far in just terms of keeping track of everything. But I can't deny she's one of the bosses I've thought about the most since beating her, and one of the ones I want to fight the most again. I think she has to go into S tier. Like, the moveset is extremely dynamic. She was very hard. Maybe too hard for where she was in the game. Once again, double damage probably has a lot to do with that. If we were just looking at her moveset, was she that hard, or was it just that we were being punished so severely for messing up? But even without that, I don't know, that's one hell of a moveset. I think I have to give her S. Also, the theme that goes along with her is so frantic and chaotic and fits the fight so well. The fake out death was also pretty cool. So I'm gonna say S tier. That one's a really good fight. I haven't really talked about some of these guys with like in regards to tools and things, but when it comes to the Savage Beastfly or Sister Splinter, for me personally, because they summoned up ads, I was using tools against them quite heavily because I hated those ads so much, and that actually felt quite balanced. But I think if you used a lot of tools against some of these other guys, you'd probably kill them way too quick. Like I probably did with Lace with the Sting Shards, where I should have just fought her without. But once again, at that part of the game, I was still kind of just throwing stuff. Now, I didn't fight this next boss until way later into the game. That being Phantom. I think Phantom is also S tier. This is one that I fought way too late, so I was overpowered when I finally found the exhaust organ. But moveset wise, it's It's really good. I do have to say it's very tricky to have it throw its pin and then basically float to it and then past it. That really got me. And I don't like that it has a counter, as a parry. But the parry is better than Lace's. Like the parry is better than Lace's parry overall. Because you can like dodge away from it. I think it goes in the same direction every time. I really wish I had died to this boss a few more times to really know its moveset, because I don't know it that well. But it's basically Hornet fighting a variation of Hornet. Maybe they'll make the next game called, you know, Hollowknight Phantom, and you play it. Probably not, but oh, this is actually the Widow fight theme. I was wrong. This is the Widow fight 100%. I don't know what the other one was. Maybe just like a standard battle. This is 100% the Widow theme. Man, I don't know how I got so confused there. Like, now that I'm hearing it, I was like, oh yeah, this is the Widow theme. Like, yeah. It's way more frantic than even the other one. Like, geez. Okay, but yeah, I think Phantom's S tier. I really need to do a refight. She's like the Hornet from Hornet in Hollow Knight. Very tricky with some of the moves, but very fair, well telegraphed. Could have done without the parry, and the visuals and everything with it is great too. Like Phantom of the Opera kind of vibes. I don't know. They did such a good job with it. The Great Conch Flies. Where's the other conch? The Raging Conch Fly. I don't know why this tier list used the Dead Conch Fly. This is the only one that I had all the names of everything, and I don't remember all the names of all the enemies, so I had to go with this one, okay? Okay, the Great Conch Flies. This boss, I don't remember super well, but it's pretty annoying. But it's kind of fun to dodge them. They like, you know, they both go up and down or both go like left and right. I don't think they're particularly hard. I actually think they're pretty easy. I think they were pretty easy, even though there's two of them, and the single fight is way harder. But I'm thinking, are they B? They weren't that fun, and when I fought them where I was in the game, I feel like I wasn't overpowered or underpowered for them. I felt like I was actually where I was supposed to be, and they were still pretty easy. Their moveset wasn't that crazy. They're sort of like training wheels for the Raging Conch Fly, honestly. I'm going to put them at high C for now, and then let's talk about the Raging Conch Fly. So the Raging Conch Fly is just annoying, because it spits out ads, but the ads don't act independently completely of the boss. They kind of fit into its attack patterns, and I kind of like that. I hate the conch cutter that it spits out. I hate it so much. I got hit by that so much. I died to this boss quite a few times, I think. Not like a ton, but definitely quite a few. And I just felt kind of overwhelmed just because of the conch cutter spit. It's a very small telegraph. I don't know. This one was a frustrating boss, even if I can say it's kind of good. Like, it's frustrating, though, you know what I mean? So in terms of, like, design and everything, it's probably, like, B tier. But it's just irritating. Like, it's just an irritating boss. Now, once you get used to the conch cutter and you get used to the pace of combat, you're, like, you're in the flow, it's fine. It never stops being irritating, though. So I think it has to go B, because it is well-designed. Fast-paced, kind of frantic. I think B tier. You guys ever are like, no, you're just completely wrong on something, and you guys have to like let me know. And that's because we're going to one of the more controversial bosses in the game, the Last Judge. I am not going to judge this boss on its run back, but holy crap, what were they thinking? What were they thinking with that run back? The boss itself, though, I think is really good. Like, just the moveset itself I think is really strong. It is one of those bosses that I had trouble losing track of. I would be too far away from it from like running away, and then it would like hit me while it was like off screen queuing a move. I don't like that. I really don't like that. So, but that's like not the boss's fault. I guess that technically that's part of the arena though, right? But everything else I actually thought was like fair and fun. And the addition to the fire where it throws its like sensor thing or whatever the heck it is, and then it explodes with fire. It is kind of one of those moments, kind of like the Morrowind, where you've been like sort of conditioned on how to dodge it, but then it like adds this extra explosion that kind of changes it. I don't mind it as much, maybe because it fits in a little bit more with the lore, but it is a little confusing if you've just been like, you know, dashing underneath it or something like that, and you don't go to then rush the boss because you know the boss is gonna pull it towards him, so you've just been like dashing underneath, and then now you also have to dash further and then jump because of the fiery explosion. So it can be a little confusing. The first time I saw like the fire wave thing, I didn't know what was going on, but I love the mechanic, and it is visually perfect. Like, it's not confusing what's going on once you understand it. I think it's S tier. Might be our third S tier in a row, but I think it's kind of perfect. It's the pinnacle, like, Act 1 boss. It's like Act 1 sort of leading into Act 2, and I think it's perfect for that. Its moveset is great, readable. The only thing that's toxic about it is its arena and that run back, but the run back's not part of the boss fight, so I'm going S tier. The Cogwork Dancers. I think these are a fan favorite. I don't know if Trobio is. But this to me is like, this fight was perfect. It is. The only thing that I stand by this, but I might have been, it might have been because I didn't have my needle upgraded, which I've talked about multiple times, but I feel like the final phase of this, where they start acting independently, would have been a good second fight. Instead, so you would have fought them once, and then you would have done a rematch where they act independently. But I think I might have just not had enough damage, and maybe it was okay. They were definitely, I think, the most fun boss to fight. It was either between them, Widow, or Judge for me, but the Judge was soured because of the run back, and Phantom, I think it was too powerful when I fought. But Cogwork Dancers was just a really fun fight. Tons of openings for you to hit them, just based around how their moves work, where they stop and stall and then show where they're gonna go next with like that telegraphed line. Sometimes it would be confusing and I'd lose track of the line. Do I like the Cogwork Dancers over the Clover? I think so. Clover was kind of more irritating, but it was also basically the same fight and really good as well. That's one I'd like to redo as well. But I think Cogwork has to go S tier. I feel like it's so perfectly designed, and sort of the pinnacle of what you can do with extremely well telegraphed bosses, but also making them challenging and really, really testing the player. Because there was a lot I had to learn, like when they go down to the ground, they swipe out with their claws, and they have got, and just learning how far the AoE was on those, like the hitbox size, because it was kind of deceiving. It was pretty far, and I had to learn that, and it was so satisfying when I did. All right, Trobio. I'm assuming this is a fan favorite, but I don't like Trobio. He covers the this is where I like, where do I go with my personal biases, right? Because I obviously like personal biases. I don't like how much of the screen is like covered in vomit by Trobio. And I also don't like how he actually like removes himself from battle. right? He goes underneath the floor of the arena. And, like, has there been any other bosses that do that? I guess Bell Beast does. It, like, goes underground. Sister Splinter does it, for sure. But then you have the ads to worry about. But she also is an enemy that does this. Actually, the conch flies do that too, but they come back like a second later, so I don't know if that counts. But this is like the first boss that, like, for multiple seconds will just not be targetable at all. Like, Widow will go on, like, to the side of the screen, go up into the sky, whatever. Back into the battlefield, she's attacking you, teleporting in with the jump claw thing, and you could punish her on all of those windows. But Trobio is just gone. He's just under the floorboards, jumping up into the sky, floating, throwing some bubbles around, then back underground. So it's really hard to build up Silk on him. So when you're trying to heal yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, how can I build up Silk? Because it's just really annoying. And then the visual clutter is insane. Now, I had fought him before I had my first needle upgrade. And that obviously, once again, leads to some biases, because when I was getting close to beating him and I was like, oh my gosh, am I close to beating this guy? I threw on my timer, and my runs were taking like 5 minutes apiece. So I probably wasn't supposed to fight him when I did. You're supposed to at least have a needle upgrade or two. But even so, why does he have that much HP? Like, it would have still been like a 2 or 3 minute fight. Double damage, not really targetable. It's so hard. I don't know. That is bad design, but it's not like really bad, right? It's just kind of bad, more irritating, but he does have an engaging moveset. You're engaged the whole time, but he's just one of these bosses that doesn't have enough, like, punish windows. You can't just play aggressively on him because he's just gone for large stretches of the fight. I think I tried fighting him with Beast Crest originally, and it just didn't work because he just doesn't let you hit him. I feel to me, and with all the problems, I think he's C tier. Even like on a non-personal level, like, B's too high. B's too high with his problems of being so kitey and off the screen. It's annoying. I'd fight him again. I'd be down. But it was more irritating than, like, really well designed. At least to me. It should be. There are some just objectively bad things about him though too, and that's I think why he deserves the C. It's kind of irritating with some of those design decisions. All right, Cygnus and Grom. These guys gave me way too much trouble. I definitely had to fight them multiple times. It wasn't terrible. There were a few times where I got hit and took a double damage hit. And on the sides of the arenas, there's lava. And lava also does double damage hit unless you have that bell thing. The magma bell to reduce fire damage. But when you don't have that equipped, and I don't think I did, I took the base damage, the base 2 mass damage. And because iframes are so little in this game, I was then hit into the fire and took another 2. So these guys did 4 damage. And, you know, this is a different game than Hollowknight. It's the sequel. It's designed differently. But, you know, I made jokes about how, you know, all these bosses are basically hitting harder than God, right? The gods in Silksong did 2 massive damage, or like creatures that were beyond normal bugs. But in here, it's just like everything does 2. And if you get hit into the lava wall, that's 4 damage, which is like hitting twice as hard as like a god in Hollowknight. Which, that sounds weird. I got hit twice harder than God hit me last time in the previous game. Like, that's a weird statement. But anyways, that's a small part of the fight, but it's just kind of weird that probably the highest damaging thing that can hit you in a boss fight, even Grandmother Silk, oh yeah, I said it hyphenated like you like, but even Grandmother Silk, her biggest attack can only hit you for 3. So this potentially hits like harder than anything in the game if you hit the side of the arena, which is weird to think about. Really weird. Bizarre. The actual boss themselves are annoying because of the ads, but I think without the ads, when they're both on screen, it's like S tier. When they're both on screen and you're having to like deal with them both, I think they're on the same level or close to. Probably not on the same level, probably a little bit below Cogwork Dancers. But they're not. You fight one and there's a whole bunch of ads, and then I think the second one comes in with like an ad or two. Maybe with an ad or two, I don't remember. And then you fight them both, and it actually feels kind of fun. The arena is so hostile. I feel that having a wall instead of the lava would have really helped because you could grip onto it. And without it, it leaves you without the, added option to clean grip to the wall and then jump off to get height. Maybe that leads into the difficulty, but once again, maybe that should have been a remix. I don't know. When you're fighting them both, they're like A tier. But because of the ads, when you're fighting them together, they're S tier, but because of the ads, I'm putting them in A. If you didn't have the ads, maybe didn't have the firewall either, and gave each one of them one more move, I think they'd be S tier. They each need one more move, no more ads, maybe don't even have the fire on the side, and that'd be an S tier fight. So it's close, but it just doesn't reach there. Not for me anyways. Alright, the second kind of controversial one. Grohl the Great. So, Grohl the Great isn't really that tough of a fight, but the gauntlet leading up to him is technically part of the boss fight, I'd say. When that arena door closes, you have to do all of the ads. And the maggot-infested waters is the most punishing mechanic of, like, toxic stuff I've ever seen in any game, I think. Like, in terms of, like, a toxic kind of mechanic. I'm trying to think if anything comes close. It's so punishing, because generally speaking, most players are probably only going to have one, maybe two silk hearts when they fight Grohl. Which means you regenerate your first really quickly. Your second takes, like, I think 3 or 3.5 seconds to get your second silk heart strand auto-generated, right? You need to hit the enemy 9 times to be able to heal once, which only heals you for 3 HP 4, which can undo 2 hits if you've got the multi-binder. So you have to have 9 silk. You have 2 auto-generated. So that means you'd have to hit the enemy 7 times, potentially. If you had 2 silk hearts, you'd have to hit them 7 times to be able to heal once. And healing that one time can only undo 2 hits if you have the multi-binder. Otherwise, you're still down HP. And when you accidentally step in the maggot waters, it makes your first heal not function at all, just to get rid of it, just to get rid of the effect. But also, while it's on you, you are constantly losing silk. So you actually have to hit the enemy 7 times, basically. 7 times in quick succession, so you don't lose all of your silk. And that's just to remove the effect, not to actually get the heal. So if you wanted to heal yourself and you had lost 4 masks, which is 2 hits, you would need to hit the enemy first 7 times to get rid of the effect if it was on you, and then another 7 times to build up enough silk to heal once to undo 2 hits. The healing economy in the game is already bad. I could go on rants for that. I think the healing economy is the worst thing about the game and leads to the game being way harder than people think it is. Boss movesets don't make the game super hard. It's the double damage and the heal economy. But when you're fighting something like Grohl in an arena that has the maggot water, it just becomes so clear how absolutely devastating the effect is. Having to have the player hit the enemy 14 times to undo 2 hits is insane. So then you put them against the gauntlet that starts the fight, against a whole bunch of enemies, where there's constantly a chance for them to accidentally step in the maggot water. Probably takes a few minutes, has one of the worst runbacks of the game, though I'm not including that in the fight. It's still annoying though. And then you have the boss themselves, and they're not particularly difficult. The suction attack is a little bit confusing. I bet if you had claw line, which I don't think I did when I fought him, but the claw line would make it a lot easier to get away from that because you could just claw line to the side when he's trying to suck you in. But if he does suck you in, or you make a mistake and you land in the water, you probably failed. The run probably ended because you don't have Silk to use spells. You'd have to hit the enemy 14 times to undo 2 hits, and that's not reasonable. So you're probably going to lose at that point. The boss himself isn't that impressive. Moveset wise, there's nothing crazy going on. It's just that adds before, and the punishment of the maggot water is just worse than anything else in the game. And because of that, like, I don't like this fight. I think it's C tier. It's like low C tier for me. Is it D? It might even be D tier. I really don't like it. The boss isn't great on its own, and the ads just make it toxic. It's not like my most hated thing in the world, but how do you defend it? How do you defend the maggot water just as a mechanic at all in the game? It's the most punishing anti-heal cruel mechanic I think I've ever seen in like an action adventure game. It's brutal. Curse, maybe in like Dark Souls 1, that was bad too. Like this, in a lot of ways, this is worse, but I don't know. Either you could argue that both are pretty bad, but yeah, I'm thinking D tier. Have a special place for the Unraveled. The Unraveled was only 2 bosses, one of only 2 bosses I didn't fight on stream. And it immediately, like, I was like, should I like, when I found its arena, I was like, oh, I should probably wait to do this on stream. And I fought it once, and I was like, I don't think I like this. Fought it a second time, and was like, I don't even care to do this on stream. This was my least favorite boss in all of Silksong, and it wasn't close. I hate this thing. Its body is massive, and I've heard this comment from probably like some other YouTubers, probably maybe just other gamers that I talked to, some of my friends. But when a boss has a move like where it rushes at you, and its body is a hitbox in any game, the movement needs to be telegraphed. This thing's startup from its like standing still animation is so insanely fast and untelegraphed. You're just hit by it all the time. That's probably why the game didn't win GOTY, because of that boss. Okay, to be fair, this is optional. Well, okay, asterisk. It's an asterisk optional boss, because you need to kill this thing to get a Silk Heart. You only get 3 Silk Hearts in the game. I've played the start of Act 1 modded with infinite Silk regen baseline. The game's not broken. It's fine. It functions completely fine. You would have never known that that wasn't the intended experience, right? Now, obviously, if you make everything one shot, you're going to be like, oh, you cheated. You broke the, you installed a mod and cheated. Everything's dying in one hit. All the bosses die in one hit. You cheater. You can do this thing with Silk. You wouldn't even know. The game works completely fine. In fact, it feels like the game was designed like that. It's actually making the game better. It's like, that's a different discussion. But my point is, you only get 3 Silk Hearts in the game, and this guy is required to kill one of them. And if this was the reason why somebody didn't vote Silksong being Game of the Year, like they had a choice between Clair Obscur and Silksong, and they were somehow on the fence between those two, and they're like, man, I don't know which one. If this was the reason that they chose Clair Obscur over it, well, there's Simon, but maybe they didn't fight Simon, okay? Secret boss, you didn't need to beat the game. If this is the reason that triggered somebody, though, I would understand it. I hate him so much. Okay, so, like, the actual boss himself, though, he's so fat. This boss is so fat. He takes up so much of the screen, and he'll just start moving towards the player with, like, it's telegraphed a little bit, but barely. He'll be like, "Arr!" and just like slightly straighten up before he just flies forward with his massive, like, fat hitbox body just sliding across the screen. It doesn't look cool. Like, the boss's design is not cool. This is like an F tier design. Let's be real. Like, Savage Beastfly is boring. Morrowind is kind of derpy looking, but kind of boring, right? This thing's just ugly. It's just an ugly, like, fat, like, bug thing with a helmet. Like, it doesn't even look good. Like, even bosses I don't like Gruul, at least he looks good, right? So, like, F tier design, the hitbox body sucks. He's got this skill where he shoots, like, silk balls or something out of his chest, and one goes high and one goes low, but it doesn't go too high and it doesn't go too low. So it's hard to, like, just jump over the low one without getting hit because it's still in the air a little bit. And then the high one is hard to just, like, stay under after you've jumped the first one because it's going a little bit low because they have, like, a little arc to them. And then he summons up ads in the fight. Because it's not annoying enough, he's actually going to summon up ads. And then he summons spikes that come, or spears that poke. I actually like that mechanic. That come out of the ground and then they flip over and then they show where they're gonna spear in. I love that mechanic. Awesome. But then it's on this boss fight, so you're dealing with that with the ads. When he disappears from the arena. He disappears from the arena. Assuming you only have one silk heart, you need to hit the enemy 8 times in order to heal. And he'll just go underground, disappearing from the battlefield altogether while his spears are doing things, and then he can pop up from the ground, rush across the screen with his massive hitbox body. His head isn't punishable. You bounce off his head, I'm pretty sure. You ting off of his head if you hit him. So you can't pogo off of him when he's rushing across the screen with his massive hitbox body. And then sometimes he'll go back underground again and the spears will do their thing. So you have to hit this guy like 8 times to get a single heal off, and he's not even in the arena half the time. And he's got ads to fight with him. It's just awful. Like, actual F tier boss. My least favorite in the game, and it's not close. I hate this thing. And if there's somebody out there who likes it, like, I want to know why. I want to know who hurt you, okay? Because that's not normal. That's like, you need to call your psychiatrist and you need to book a second appointment, like, for tomorrow, like, ASAP, right? Like, that's not okay. You can call them up and be like, I'm unraveled, or something like that, and they'll be like, I don't understand. And you'll give them context. Just link them this tier list. They'll understand after. Okay. Moving on from that rant, the Chef Legoli. Chef Legoli. I don't remember the name. Disgraced chef. I couldn't read what that was. The I almost said drop shadow. The whatever it is around the words. I can't think of the term right now. It's hard to read with small font, apparently. Man, she's really tough because she puts that debuff on you with her attacks that you see with Gruul. And if you get hit with it, it could end the fight. You only have to fight like 2 ads before you fight her. But it's really bad. She's not B tier, she is offensive. She is annoying. Her moveset is actually kind of fun. But once again, she has like a hitbox that floats into you. I think that's what I hated most about her. She would like float into me with her hitbox. Not her using her butt to hit the player, but like just kind of float into me sometimes. And it felt like unintentional, and I just get hit by her hitbox body. I think I had actually the same thing with Gruul too. I'm pretty sure Grohl had the same thing, where I would like get hit by his body because he would just like float into me, and it like wasn't super well telegraphed. Definitely going into C tier. It wasn't bad enough to put it into D. Maybe it is. Maybe like high D tier, just because of putting the maggot water on the plate. But you could use the Reef of Purity if you found. But yeah, but that's. If there's a boss rush, are you gonna take the Wreath of Purity with you? And to players who hadn't found it, it's just the run is dead at that point. Once again, if you only have 1 or 2 Silk Hearts, you have to hit the boss like, 7, 8 times to break the effect. You don't even get to heal. I think it has to be D tier just because that effect is so brutally punishing. Moveset's okay. She disappears from the arena a little bit, but I don't think for very extended periods of time. But between the hitbox body and the extreme punishment of that one projectile hitting the player, basically killing the run, I'm gonna put her in D. The first Sinner. This boss teleports a lot. But I can't deny that it's the _1 boss I want to fight again. Straight up, it's the #1 boss I want to fight a second time. And one of the reasons I started my second go through the game and started experimenting with like throwing around mods and stuff just to see how the game felt. But one of the reasons is I want to refight the first Sinner. I used tools on her in a lot of them because I felt like the fight was taking too long, but I probably needed another needle upgrade. Although she teleports, you like see the teleport coming because she does it so much, and instead of it being like whoosh, and then shooting like a bunch of projectiles or something like that, and then she's gone for a few seconds and then somewhere else and does the same thing, it's very snappy. So when she's gone and she appears, you can easily get a hit off. The pace of the fight does feel right. But it also gets kind of crazy towards the end, and without having an iframe dodge, there were instances that I felt like I got frame trapped. I didn't talk about that with Trobio. I have gone back and watched me fight Trobio, at least for a little bit of it. And yeah, I got frame trapped a few times. Like, just legitimately, there was nothing I could do. I was eating a hit. And I hated how that felt. It was, like, just awful. I feel like that happened with the first Sinner, but the pace of her fight feels right. To put her in anything less than A is wrong. But to me, I want to fight her again. She might be my favorite boss for how like fast paced she is, but I wish she teleported a little bit less, but you can't just have a boss that's sitting there eating hits from the player, right? I think it's why skills like the Last Judge's spin is so powerful, or the Cogwork Dancers having to pay attention to more than one thing at a time is potentially a fix to that. The teleporting was a bit insane, and Phase 3 got crazy with her spamming Rune Rage, but I can't deny I just want to fight her again. I think she's the #1 boss I want a second go at. I think she's my favorite, like on a personal level. Is she better than Widow? Is she better than Phantom or Last Judge or Cogwork? Right now, I haven't really been ordering these because, like, I think I've been ordering some of these lower ones, maybe. Like, I think Bell Beast is probably... Oh, because, well, I'm doing the double Moss Mother fight, right? I think Cogwork Dancers objectively is probably better than First Sinner. On a more objective level, probably. I don't know, this is really interesting. I wonder what other people's perspective on First Sinner is, but her moveset is really good. The teleporting is frantic. It's pretty great. I think this seems pretty good, with my own personal biases also present, obviously, but trying to be a little bit more objective. I think Cogwork is better than First Sinner, probably. I don't know if that's for like all people, but I think there's a lot of things it does right. And then I think Widow over Phantom because I feel Widow's a little bit more complicated and her moveset's a little bit more varied. And Last Judge is good for what he is, like end of Act 1 bosses, but nothing crazy, right? Alright, the Craggler. Craggler has to go into D tier, below Skull Tyrant. If we were doing this off of memory, I wouldn't have remembered that this was a boss in Silksong at all. It's like on the ceiling somewhere. And you like have to jump up and hit it, and then it spits and you hide under a rock. And then you jump up and hit it, and then you hide under a rock, and you do it until it dies. It has one move. It's more like an obstacle. Is it F tier? It's not, it doesn't hurt the game like the Unraveled does. It's just an annoying obstacle boss. Kind of like Skull Tyrant. Basically no moves. Doesn't even look that cool. It's okay. So yeah, just end of D tier. Doesn't get much more boring than that. Alright, Father of the First Flame. This is a weird boss because you can't actually hit the enemy to get Silk. So I used the Architect crest with the Lifeblood gimmick to, you know, overdose, and then I could heal from it. I feel like without it, this would have been a kind of a hard fight. But I don't find it fun. I don't find it fun, and the fact that you can't heal during it to undo mistakes is like pretty brutal, right? Like you literally don't get Silk if you have Ava, if you've bound Ava and you're regenerating Silk over time. Then that allows you to heal twice if you rested at the bench and didn't take a hit. But otherwise, you might only get like one heal in the fight. And it's really just pogoing on the individual pieces of it, since it's not like a normal boss fight. It's pretty difficult, and depending upon what crest you have equipped for the pogo, it could make it way, way harder. Like, I did it with Architect for the heal over time, but I took multiple hits. You can also put on the Magma Bell to make the damage halved. So although you're not healing, you're only taking half damage, you're only taking one mask apiece. And if you have enough masks, like you had 8 masks, let's say, that's 8 mistakes, which I think is fairly reasonable. And that's without your single bind heal. So you could probably take more than that. If you have the multi-binder on, that'd be 12 hits. So not super difficult, but kind of a stupid, weird boss. I don't know. It's more of an obstacle than an actual boss. Kind of stupid, but it doesn't make me mad. I don't think it's bad game design. Is it? I don't think so. I've noticed that some of these have like things that are either irritating or kind of bad game design. These are extremely just toxic or forgettable, which is bad. But yeah, so it's not great game design, but it's not like really bad either. And it's, I don't know. I think high C is the right place for it. Like Trobio has a really cool moveset, but he's also just kind of toxic, right? That's why he's here. All right, Carmelita, out of all of the hearts, what do they call them? Old hearts. Out of all of the old hearts, I think this by far is the best fight. Because it's Crust King Kong, Nyleth, and Carmelita. And she's just the best. Right? She's just the best out of all of them. I think she's S tier as well. And one of the bosses I want to fight a few more times. Like, I was frustrated by her. I did it with the Architect and the healing. But I'd want to fight her with different crests in different ways. I think she's better than Widow. I do. I think her moveset is more advanced than almost every other boss in the game. She has a lot of moves. She's one of those bosses that also, very similar to the Morwing, conditions the player to dodge an attack during her first phase, and then punishes that player for dodging it during the second. I don't like that. I think that is disgusting, mean game design made specifically just to mess the player up. You don't teach the player how to dodge a skill in the first phase and then immediately change it. That is bad design, but I think that was like the only thing I didn't really like. I'm not a fan of her blocking either. She can like spin her things around and block an attack that you would otherwise hit her with. And once again, if you have 3 Silk Hearts, you still need to hit the enemy 6 times. If they regenerate on their own, right? Because of the Silk Heart. So you're out of Silk, I mean. But if you're out of Silk, you regenerate 3. You still need to hit the enemy 6 times to heal once. And healing once can undo getting hit 1 time. Or sorry, getting hit 2 times. So you need to land 6 hits for every 2 the boss does on you with some very tough bosses. And she can just randomly just block attacks. She also teleports away, basically. They're dashes, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, you'll have already pressed the button. Hornet will swing her attack, and a boss won't be there anymore by the time you've, like, jumped in and pressed the button, because she's so fast. So, there are some things I don't like about her, but her moveset is really good, and the fight is just... It's so well laid out. I'm glad that they chose the arena that they did. I don't like fighting the 2 ads before her. There's definitely some annoyances with her. Maybe she's worse than Widow, the more I think about it. I don't know, it's just like her moveset is so advanced and fun to fight against. But there's also like annoyances, like fighting the bugs. I think there's like 4 bugs before you fight her that you have to kill. Blocking attacks, teaching the player to dodge a certain way, and then ripping it out from underneath them and being like, no, that doesn't work anymore. Kind of toxic. But still fun. She's one of the bosses I want to fight the most again, so I'm going to keep her in S tier, but I'm not going to put her above these 2. I just don't think she deserves it, unfortunately, because of some of those mechanics. If those were gone, if she couldn't, like, block attacks and stuff like that, I think it'd be alright. But those are kind of nitpicks, honestly. And her arena and her theme is, like, really cool, too. So, like, huge W on all those fronts. The Voltworm. This is the only other boss that I didn't fight on stream. I think it sucks. It's just, like, it's tentacles that pop out from, like, these little orifices, like, on the ceiling, and then they shoot lightning and they're exposed, and then they go back inside and you can't hit them for a little while, and that's the fight. It's just like dodge the... It's more like an obstacle. It's sort of like the father of the first flame, but not as bad, because you can get your Silk back to heal. And it's a little more engaging than that. I realize I put Father of the First Flame over Trobio. I wonder if that's going to trigger people. I just think he's poorly designed, though, Trobio is. I really do. I just feel like he's annoying. And just, like, not on the screen. But his moveset is way more advanced than these other 2, though. That's the thing. Like, his moveset is way better. He's just, like, really toxic, you know? I guess technically that's the same with the Raging Conchfly, though. Raging Conchfly is more manageable once you figure him out, though. Trobio is just always just not on the screen, so he has to stay at sea. But yeah, Voltworm, you guys weren't missing much. That is just a boring, like, fight. The second Sentinel. I really like this one. It's not like... Immediate thought is A tier, right? I believe he also has a parry, which I don't like on bosses, because... On the player, it's high risk, high reward in a fighting game, but bosses just only get the reward, and they have like a bazillion HP, so it doesn't matter if you mess up. Its moveset was pretty advanced. I don't think it really tested the player like crazy, but you could probably fight it way earlier, because you just need the cog heart pieces and to know where it's at. I think A tier is where it belongs. Do I like it more than the Lace rematch? Maybe. Is it better than the Lace rematch? I don't think so on an objective level. I think the Lace rematch tests the player a lot more of just their knowledge about the game and asks them to adapt when she uses like her special attack where she's zipping around. Like she makes an area of effect that she's zipping around all over the place. Where she does her spin and it leaves behind like after image explosion kind of things, like area of effect explosions. Second Sentinel doesn't really teach that, but like his fight is so clean. It's so clean and devoid of like BS that when you lose to him, you're not even like, oh man, I didn't deserve that. You're like, no, that felt right. So I feel like A tier is probably a good spot for him. I am going to bio really quick. I'll leave the music just kind of rolling, but I need to AFK for a second. Okay, I am back. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah, Second Sentinel. Yeah, I'm looking at this. That's I'm happy placing. I think he's actually better than Cygnus and Grom. I think so. Okay, Brood Mother. Le Brood Mother. Brood Mother is another one of those fights that has just a ton of ads, but I don't think I found her all that difficult. I mean, she's actually got the Gruzmother Slam, where she actually does the Gruzmother attack. It's like the first boss you ever fight in Hollow Knight, or the second, I don't remember. But like, but then she also has like the heavy CC spit thing, which really just irritating, and a ton of ads. Like just a ton. Her moveset isn't that difficult. You're just dealing with lots of ads. Once again, it's not bad. It's annoying. I'm thinking C tier again. Below Trobio, because Trobio's got a good moveset, he's just irritating. This thing's irritating, it has an okay moveset. Design-wise, I don't think it's that cool either. Yeah, maybe I should reorder these a little bit, because, like, Sister Splinter is better than Father of the Flame. It's like an engaging boss, right? Yeah, I think something like that's a little bit better. But yeah, and the reason for this, like, you can't heal on this. It doesn't really have attacks. It's just like projectiles. Projectiles from ceiling. Like 2 moves, but lots of ads that are annoying. A few moves that are annoying with some like tricks for the player, and you can't see it on the screen all the time. On the ceiling ads. This actually isn't that bad. You know, the Great Conch Flies isn't... There's nothing wrong or annoying about this fight. It's just not as challenging as it needs to be. It feels like it ends too soon. I think B tier, because, like, not offensive, right? And then a lot of ads, CCs, annoying attacks that cover a lot of the screen without great punish windows. Like, the Gruzmother Slam, I guess, does have some. It's not that big of a deal. Just annoying overall. Great moveset, but like really annoying and not on the screen all the time. So yeah, I'd say Broodmother is a C tier. It's not the worst thing in the world, definitely not the best. The Bell Eater. Okay, the Bell Eater is like one of the most surprising like shock moments in the game. Like, you don't know if it's eaten Ada or not. You're in such a panic. Its moveset is great. Like, its moveset is confusing too, where it like goes across like, or it like goes underneath the ground and then it can like pop up and go across like vertically. Like, it like poops at you, or it's shooting something out of its like it's like butt. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like fiery explosive egg things. I don't know. It's really weird. It's kind of one of those bosses like the Voltverm. Or Father of the First Flame, kind of mixed with Sister Splinter. It's got areas where you can't stand, so it's like controlling parts of the battlefield entirely when it goes across them, or when it pops up and uses its legs to like slash. But it always feels manageable. So it's like an obstacle boss mixed with like a regular one. I actually think it's really fun. I think it might be A tier. I don't think it's better than any of the A tiers we have, though. But it's better than just being, like, non-offensive and okay. It's actually fun. It's actually got a good moveset. Challenges the player because it's late game. I think I died a few times. Can be annoying to get caught in it. But not, like, toxic annoying, right? Just like, oh, man. There's probably times where I felt like I got frame trapped in it too. I'm trying to remember if that's how I felt, but I think a few times I was like, is there a way I could have dodged that? Like, I'm not sure. But I'm gonna go with A, probably low A tier though, not like spectacular, but way better than just non-offensive. The Plasmified Zango. Is this really a boss? D tier, I think. Okay, I remember him. I guess it's kind of a boss. You don't get anything for killing him. You don't for the... He's with these. He's more like an environmental hazard. He's just kind of to show like how tanky something could become with lifeblood with the auto regenning. And I think I just used a lot of tools or something. I don't remember. I think I used like a lot of tools and spammed like silk skills at him or something. He has a ton of HP because he just like regenerates. It's not really a boss. He's got like 2 or 3 skills. The slide on the ground is annoying, and there's something about his projectiles that were hard to dodge too. I don't exactly remember what it was, but there's something with his projectiles that were like actually kind of difficult to dodge them. But it didn't take that long to kill. I don't know, he's barely a boss, barely. Tormented Trobio. Same thing, you get C tier. Your moveset is great, but you are annoying as hell. Like, you are toxic and annoying and not on the screen. all the time. So I can't hit you to get back Silk. And without modding the game, I don't get auto-regenerating Silk. And without using Architect Crest or modding the game, I don't get health regen. So, yes. Trobio! Exactly. Do you disagree? Do you think I think C tier. I think he's annoying. I think he's actually offensive, annoying. Just not on the screen, a lot of visual clutter, but his moveset is good. Like it's got a good moveset, but it's an annoying boss, right? That's why I've been putting him here. They have to be the highest high of C tier or the lowest low of B tier. There's no other way around it, right? But they are offensive enough that I'm putting him in C. He's fun, but I can see why the flares can be annoying. Yeah, it's just... And him disappearing from the battlefield, or when he flies up in the sky, like, you can jump up and hit him, but you can't hit him multiple times no matter how fast your needle is. So, yeah. There's... And I will state this again, without using Sharp Dart, which I don't like the name of that skill, but without using Sharp Dart, there are times where I was frame trapped. I've gone back and watched my VOD. There are legitimate times where I was like, I don't know if I could have gotten out of that. And watching it back and slowing it down, nope. There's no way you're getting... So you eat free hits sometimes. And in a game where you need like 7, 8 hits to get 1 heal to undo 2 hits from an enemy, an unavoidable is just... It's brutal and kind of a, like, you shouldn't be in the game, right? It's just bad. Anyways, yeah, we'll keep him there. I was just wondering if I was being a little bit too harsh. But good movesets, but some bad design decision. All right, Crust King Kong. I think I fought this guy with the Plasmium, like, Lifeblood Overdose state. And I wish I hadn't, because this boss is really good. It's fair, not too hard, but very fair, and gives me sort of the same vibes as Bell Eater in terms of like difficulty. Because I think Bell Eater took a few tries. I think he's better than the Bell Eater. I actually like his moveset a lot, and it does pick up pace when you get him to phase 2, and I think that's what makes it really fun. The first time that I fought this boss, it was sort of the same thing with the last judge, where I didn't exactly see its attack. So like I went back and when I was like, you know, getting the VOD set up, and he has a move where he like crosses his arms and it does like an X pattern across the screen. But during phase 2, there's another set that come down like diagonal from it. And I didn't see him the first time, but after that, and I was looking for him, I could. So it's kind of like the last judge. When she first does the fire thing, it's kind of confusing. But once you have it down of what to look for, perfectly telegraphed. It's a really well, fast-paced telegraph fight that's still not easy. And it's easier than some of the other ones, right? But without the auto regen on, I think it would have been a lot harder for me. I wish I would have fought it with a different crest. I did it in one try because of the Plasmium is too powerful, probably. But in terms of its moveset and its challenge it offers to the player, I think it's really good. Maybe it's even higher, but I only fought it the one time with probably being a little bit too powerful, so I can't say for certain, but at least deserving of A tier. And from what I saw of it, from its relatively simple moveset, yet very fun to fight against, I'm gonna say A tier. Maybe should be below Bell Beast. The Bell Eater, I mean. Not Bell Beast, but Bell Eater, maybe. I don't know. I think I liked him more than Bell Eater, and he was more frantic. Probably more difficult, too, with a different crest. So, yeah, we'll keep him. We'll keep him in A tier. Is he better than Cygnus and Grom? See, Cygnus and Grom, the way they're actually in the game with the ads, does bring them down. Like, fighting them together, they're S tier. Fighting them as is in the game, they're A tier, but they're still held back. I think these are better. All right, Shrine Guardian Seth. R.I.P. Mr. Seth. I'm I didn't really like this fight. I think his moveset, kind of similar to Trobio, his moveset is good, but there's like a lot of stuff surrounding his moveset that's really stupid. There were so many times where this guy wasn't on my screen, even more than the Morwing who's in C tier. Like, he does the downward dive thing and does a like AoE explosion. You have to dash out of that. You have to like get out of the way because it's a pretty big explosion. But like when you do, he's like 70% off your screen right there. There are so, and then he teleports around a lot too. So sometimes you'll rush towards him, right? He'll be on this left side, you'll be on this right side. He'll do the thing where he jumps up into the air and dashes down at you. You don't want to get hit by the big AoE, so you dash this way, and you're like, ha, okay, now I'm gonna go back to you. So you rush at the boss, and now you're like attacking him because he's over here, right? You like attack him, and then he teleports into like this upper corner over here. And if you keep moving forward a little bit, he's off your screen now, like throwing stuff at you. And he has the blocking thing that Carmelita has, where with Carmelita, she like blocks attacks randomly. He has that same thing too. So it's late game, it's hard to heal. You probably need to hit like 6-7 times. 6-7. No, you probably need to hit 6 or 7 times to get a heal off. And if one of those is blocked, it makes it, 8 or 9 times. The shield ricochet is kind of cool. The shield ricocheting off the ground and like punishing the player is for jumping. Kind of cool. Teaches the player to sort of unlearn a behavior or to throw in a dash to like compensate with that every time they dodge. I don't mind that. It's not a bad boss. Kind of irritating though, right? There are some things I really dislike about it, like being off screen. The teleporting. Is it C tier? I think he's better than Trobio, for sure. He's not that annoying, but he is annoying. In the same way, like, the Raging Conchfly is, you can manage it, right? You can, like, manage his annoyingness. You can, like, manage it, but just barely, because there's enough toxic game design with, like, being off screen, and he teleports a little too frequently, the blocking. I'm gonna say, like, very bottom of B tier, and he should be gracious for it. Nihilith. I think Nihilith's first phase to second phase transition is, like, the best transition in the game. Is there any other boss that's, like, has an actual transition of like the stage or from phase 1 to phase 2 that's actually as good? Maybe first Sinner. Cogwork Dancers, they're an S tier for a reason. Nihilith's shift from when you first engage her to the there's no floor anymore is you've already got to fight her a little bit in like a safe environment. I think she's A. She's pretty simple, but really tests the player in a different way. Sort of a cross between a boss and environmental hazard, very similar to the Bell Eater. I think she's better than Bell Eater. Also, one I've just noticed, all of the old hearts I've put into A or S tier. Carmelita, Crust King Khan, and Nihilith, I'm all putting in A or S tier. Wow. This game was like backstacked like crazy with some really good fights. Holy crap. Her music is beautiful. Design. I haven't really talked about design of all these. If I don't say anything, they're great. Epic, 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 epic. Just like, they're all epic when they're up here in terms of design. Just like truly great. Even Trobio's like really epic. What a good design. Just absolutely great. I don't think she's better than Crust King Khan. I do think, like, as an environmental, like, hazardy kind of boss, she tests the player more than Bell Eater. Has a decent chunk of moves, all things considering. You can't stay too close to her because she can melee, I think. I think she has like a melee move. She has the dash, spitballs. She's got something else, I don't remember it, but that's enough when you don't have a floor. So really like test the player on things. Once again, another boss where the speed of your nail does not matter. Like there's quite a few bosses where speed of your nail attack in Wanderer doesn't matter. Trobio's under the ground, Voltverm's on the ceiling, this thing you pogo off of. These guys are floating / on the ceiling. This thing's on like floating, so you pogo it or hit it like once. This thing's a lot of times on the ceiling. A little overbloated that people like that thing so much. I used it for a lot too because I think it's a really good crest, Wanderers, but attack speed is not as important as people think. It depends upon the boss. Certain bosses can block too, so. The Pale Stag. I don't remember this super well. I fought it. I think it's like just an environmental hazard boss, and I remember it being really irritating, but I think I was juiced up. I think I had... I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have always used the Plasmium. I just don't like the healing system, the healing economy. It's not good in my opinion. I think he's C tier. This wasn't a fun fight. It wasn't a good moveset either. Wasn't a good moveset. It's like an environmental hazard thing. It's like one of these guys. And I remember it being more annoying. It teleported around all the time. I'm giving it D tier. It was like always teleporting around. I couldn't like, and you need to hit enemies to get Silk to heal yourself in this game. So it's like you dodge, hit, dodge, hit, dodge, and you need to hit like the boss like 8 times to get a heal. It's stupid. It might even be worse than these other bosses because it doesn't like have a good moveset. Yeah, it's better than Zango. Yeah, I think so. I think like middle of the pack D. Not great. Alright, Clover Dancers. I have to give Clover Dancers S if I gave Cog to... I think Cog works better. I do. I think Cogwork is more fun. The Clover had a few extra moves and was simpler though. But it's missing that sauce that like the Cogwork dancers have, right? It's missing where they're synchronized, going pretty slow, and then they wind up and the music's like double time and they're moving twice as fast, and then it gets even more frantic when they become desynced from each other and they're attacking individually, and then you get the one alone. And this one's like missing that story element to it and like the learning of the fight, but it's really good. It's really good for what it is. I think I was also juiced on this. I don't like the heal system. I'm so tempted when I play the game, when the DLC comes out, to play with like modified rules. But I need to find that like right balance, right? Like the healing of Architect is way too much when you're juiced up on Plasmium. But I think you get 1 HP back like every 5.5 seconds or 5 seconds, which is just too much, right? So you should have to heal. You should have to use your bind, but maybe like once every 10 seconds would be okay. Whatever Hive Blood in Hollowknight was felt pretty fair. So maybe I go in with that and I, have just a little bit of a buffer. It's not like I can't play the game. I just find it more irritating too. I got through it. I got through Evolve Silksong, but I feel like I didn't have as much fun as I could if I would have been able to use more spells because I healed over time, Silk regened over time so I could heal and use spells easier. I probably would have had more fun. Alright, so... yeah, I'm gonna put him here, but it's hard to say without fighting him again without being juiced up what I actually think of them. Lost Garmend. I didn't like this fight. I don't want to say hated it. Hated strong. I did not like it though. His projectiles and the way they like flung forward. There was like one here, like where the F would be. There's like one here, and then there's like one right here. like in between this gap between F and did not fight, and you have to like jump in between the two of them. It's like really tight, or you had to like run to the other side of the room. So it's like the way he was designed didn't make sense without like having the ability to like shade cloak through, and you don't have shade cloak in this game. So if you're not using the sharp dart, which is still a dumb name for one of the silk skills, but unless you're using sharp dart, like you can't easily get through them. If you stay pretty close to him, you can kind of just jump over him when he does it and jump to the other side. And I think that's what I did. I kind of just stuck close. Not a good fight though. I don't think it's a good fight. Good story and everything. Like his story is awful. Like it's sad. But he's not a good fight, right? Not bad either. He's not like bad fight, but not good either. Probably better than Mother. More fun than Brood Mother, probably. Still annoying, but like not as. And nowhere near as advanced as the Trobios. Alright, the Pinterest. The Pinterest... the Pinterest is just very kitey. She's like on the ground, and then she'll jump up in the air and throw some daggers at you, teleport to the other side, throw some daggers at you, teleport to the other side. I say daggers, but they're pins, right? She throws pins, and then she'll do the thing where she goes on the ground and rushes across the screen, and then changes directions and rushes across the screen. You might hit her once or twice, and then she teleports up into the sky and throws some pins, and then teleports around. She's just like Chakra. Like, Chakra's the same. Wherever Chakra goes, Pinterest goes just below her. Because these bosses are both really stupidly annoying, where they're just, like, kiting away from the player, with the Pinterest just being worse. They're sort of in the same category of Seth. I think that Chakra's above Seth, and then maybe Pinterest is below. Because you can manage all of their attacks and their moves. You can manage them just fine. But like they're also still annoying. They're like very annoying, toxically designed bosses that are manageable. There's nothing about them that's like over the top that like really makes you rage or be like, why did they design it this way? Right? Once again, Chakra is just all over the place. You need to hit the boss like 8 times to get a heal off, and she's just constantly moving around, so you can't hit her consistently enough. There's no automatic HP regen in the game unless you mod it. There's no automatic silk regen in the game unless you mod it. And if those things were in the game, I think it would be I'd be much more accepting of her annoying moveset. Same with Seth and being able to block some random things. Same with Pinterest floating around off screen. Seth less, because like you actually can't see him sometimes, like you lose track of him on the screen. But I probably need to refight him again to like really say that. But most of these would be fine if the game was altered in just some way. You needed less silk to heal. You healed more HP with a full strand of silk. You regenerated silk over time. You regenerated a health mask over time, like every 10 seconds or something like that. Anything like that, design-wise, would turn these bosses from annoying in the games that they're in to like they're actually good fights, and like they work well with the mechanics. But the mechanics that are actually part of the game that Team Cherry made, unfortunately, they're just not as good as they could be. And it's kind of crazy because like I put Bell Beast in B tier for what it was, right? For what it was in the game, teaching new players you know, a little bit about the combat system, getting them back into the game if they hadn't played Hollow Knight for a while. And it's very simple moveset, like you can't compare Chakra to it, but there's nothing wrong with what it does, and it's perfect for what it does in the game when you fight it. Whereas like Chakra's not like that. She feels like she was designed in a game where your heal would heal more, you need less silk to heal yourself, you have silk regen over time so you can heal and use spells more often, or you have health regen over time. And you can get health regen over time, and it like fixes the game, but it also makes it a little too easy because it's a little too powerful. But yeah, it's a good boss fight, good design with all of these with their movesets. but it's just the game is missing something to actually make them feel like they were made for this game properly, and at least for me, it still feels like they were like modded in by somebody. They're like, wouldn't it be cool if we had this enemy that like teleported around? It's like, yeah, but remember you need to hit the enemies to get Silk to heal? What are you talking about? Right? It's like somebody modded them in, not they were made by Team Cherry and put in the game. It's really bizarre. Really bizarre. All right, Gur the Outcast. I didn't really like this thing all that much. I think I fought this on stream, right? Yeah, I found it off stream. And then I fought it on stream. It was like the first thing I did that day. It leaves the arena a lot. The first thing that I think about is how much it leaves the arena, and like throws traps that cut off where you can stand. And it feels kind of BS. The way it jumps out of the ground, it's really subtle. Oh my gosh, is it subtle. But there's like a little bit of rustling under the like grass, and you'll see a little bit of dust either going straight up vertical or up to the side diagonally, and that's where he's gonna jump out at. And at first I didn't even think it was telegraphed. I thought it was just like badly designed. I thought it was just like RNG, and I was gonna be really mad at it, but then I saw it was really subtle and you could see where it's jumping out at. But he's under the ground so much in a game where you need to hit enemies to heal, in a game where you don't have Silk automatically regenerating to heal, in a game where you need like a full spool of 9 Silk to heal, where healing only is able to undo 2 hits of mistakes because double damage, in a game where you don't heal over time. It's once again, it's like he's modded in. It's like he's a modded in boss to the game. His moveset's fun. It's fun to dodge his traps. It's annoying, but like a good moveset, but he's just not on the screen like 87% of the fight. It's so annoying. Like, if honestly, like, Team Cherry just needs to give me their next game early, and I can fix it for them. I promise you guys. You just keep the enemies on the screen would be the first thing. Like, you keep them on the screen most of the time. Okay, certain ones like the conch flies that like drill into the floor and then come out immediately. It's okay. Sometimes that's fine. Some enemies having a lot of aggressive teleports but leaving a lot of openings to get hit in here or there, and that's like their gimmick. It is clear, but they're always on the screen somewhere. Probably okay. Just give me the game next time early access. I'll keep embargoes and stuff like that. Okay, then I wouldn't be able to stream it because I know everything. Gosh, that would suck. Okay, I don't know. Give it to my future self. I don't know, but I could definitely fix some of these issues. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in C tier. He's just not on the screen enough and just covers the whole screen with traps. Is it okay moveset? Not the greatest, I don't know. I'm saving that for last. I have no idea what the hell this thing is. I had already said this yesterday. I don't know what these are. And I didn't fight them. Watcher at the edge and summon Savior? Let me look him up. I don't want to like... I probably should find it. I'm just curious. I don't need to watch the whole thing. I'm just curious. Why isn't this loading?
This is also a really weird one to get.
Okay.
And know exists, and here it is on the map right about there. It's like I said, it's kind of tucked away in the middle of that zone. So to activate this boss, you need to play the Needlin, and there he is right there. Notice that there are sandworms on the left
Oh,
side.
yeah, I don't think I did
Now,
that.
this guy is not too bad, especially if you're coming here super duper late.
If I
game,
fought
which
this
you
guy,
probably are,
I do
considering
not
you have to
remember
fight
it.
this guy in Act 3. Basically, he's just got like a great sword moveset. He's going to do the Ether kind of rising slash and then falling slash, and he'll switch it up depending on what side you're on. So if
Okay. I don't know if I fought that thing, but I don't remember that. What's the other one called? Summoned Savior? Secret boss. Yeah, apparently it was secret because I don't know this thing. What the? Oh, it's Steel Soul only. Oh, that's why I haven't fought this thing. There was an item that was Steel Soul only as well. Wait, do you not get Silk and Steel Soul mode? This guy's like not genning Silk, but he's hitting. Or is it just this enemy that you can't gen Silk against? He's gonna die. It's Steel Soul. You only get one try, buddy. You're gonna die, and your whole life's gonna be ruined. Okay, so this just uses, like, really basic attacks. It's not crazy. So there's a phase 2. I haven't done Steel Soul. I don't really want to be honest. Speedrun could be fun. If I was going to speedrun a game, which I think could be fun, Silksong would probably be the one I go for. Interesting. Okay. That's that encounter. Interesting. And there's a wish that's aligned with it. Interesting. It avoid enemy so it gives no soul. I did not know that. Why did that guy go in with more soul? I mean, he did it. He did it, but he was at a single mask. He could have died at any second. He could have died at any second during that. I'm not going to judge him. He did it. Like, I'm not the one playing Steel Soul. He clutched it. Oh, okay, yeah, so I did not fight either of these. If I did fight Watcher at the Edge, I don't remember it. So I'm going to just put it in did not fight. I'm going to pretend like I didn't fight him if he did, because I don't remember it at all. The Craw Father. Craw! Ah, father. Okay, so this guy, I think I did my first time, right? He's not very difficult. There's a lot of ads. It's more about the ads than the boss himself. The overall encounter is like okay. I'm thinking C tier below Trobio and below Gur, because he's not on the screen all the time either, from what I remember. I think he disappears and brings out ads. He's got like that like barbed wire stuff that goes over the screen, like blocking you off. It's like an okay moveset, but mostly just about the ads and not always on the screen. So most of the same complaints I had about Gur or Trobio or any of these other ones that have like lots of ads, just not as bad. It felt more manageable, I guess, to me for whatever reason. So I think C tier is fair. Armand and Zaza was a boss? Um, I don't remember this at all. I'm putting him above these because I'm sure he comes first before like Lost Garmond, but I don't remember fighting him at all. Do you have to fight him? If I have to fight him, then I'm gonna put him below these guys because I don't remember the fight at all. Maybe it's like really short, like you hit him 2 times and he falls off Zaza, and he's like, "Oh, you're a good warrior bug," or something like that. Like maybe I'll put him in D. I don't remember that fight like at all. All right, Grandmother Silk. Using the hyphen like you guys like. You guys really like when I hyphenate that. I don't know why, but you do, so I'm going to roll with it. So, Grandmother Silk. Okay. Act 2 final boss. Not that difficult. She's easier than Lace's upgraded form, for sure. Sorry, Lace's upgraded form is harder than Grandmother Silk's. Than when you first fight her. I feel like her moveset is really good and fair and telegraphed, and that's why she's not as hard as she is. But we are talking about a really good, fair, well telegraphed moveset, which immediately puts her into A tier. Like just straight up, she's already an A, if not S. I think she might be S. She's a really good fight. She's a really good fight. The patterns of her giant needles that come flying across the screen, either horizontally or vertically, and the fact that she also does the slash on the ground that you need to jump over, really cool. Phase 2, when there's rocks that fall, also pretty cool. She's constantly hittable, either by small bunny hops or just like directly attacking upwards potentially. Or you could even pogo off of her, since she's like in the background a little bit, but you can like attack her in the background, which is kind of interesting. And so she's got like a lot of openings, so you can play really aggressive and constantly get your silk or use spells. But she has enough like movement, like sweeping across the battlefield and sending her needles at you, that you can't just like drill into her and just like gut her. There's a real nice balance between offense and defense that some of the other fights just don't have. I don't know if I'd say she's better than like Phantom or Widow though. Maybe I'm putting her ahead of Last Judge because I do think her moveset is more advanced and engaging for where you like. She's end of Act 2, obviously. Last Judge is Act 1. Same reason like Bell Beast is higher. It's perfect for what he is. I think she's a pretty good capstone to the end of Act 2. I don't think it gets better than that. And I do think that she has more impact than the Last Judge. Her 3 mask attack, kind of gimmicky. Like, I don't like 2 masks of damage already, right? I don't really think that was necessary in this game. I beat the game like with it, but I wish it wasn't there for a first playthrough. I wish that was like a new game plus. You take double damage from everything, and then I could complain about it, but I'd be like, you know what, it was a new game, but it wasn't. It's just part of the base game. Just part of the base game. So the triple mask thing's very gimmicky. It's only on the 1 attack, but it's cool. It makes you be like, oh my gosh, I need to never get hit by that again, right? And obviously good lore and everything too. So I think S tier is more than deserving. And in terms of capstone for Act 2 boss, she acts in the same way Last Judge did for Act 1. She's perfect, but just with more. And that leads us to the final boss to place in this tier list. The very last boss of Silksong. For everyone except me, because I missed Voltverm. Lost Lace. So, I have fought Lost Lace multiple times now. I did it on stream 2 or 3 times, or I think 2 times the first day I did it. But I've gone back, and because when you beat the game, when you load up your save file, you're right back on that bench, and you can fight her again. Now, the annoying part is if you actually do kill her and go all the way through rescuing her, it sends you to the credits and you can't skip them. But you can also just quit out to the menu and then refight her again, which makes her one of the only bosses that you can fight after you've beaten the game again. You could just fight her infinitely. And I've fought her multiple times now with trying out different setups, different crests, and she's good. She is a good boss. Probably S tier, but has to be either low A or very low S because it is hard to see what she is doing sometimes. I have had multiple instances, even now, sometimes I'll shut her down. Sometimes I take her and I crumple her up like a piece of paper and I throw her out the window, and the crazy winds that we've been having over the last few days that have caused our government to decide sometimes whether they want to shut the power off so there's less chance of power lines falling down and burning. The wind, that crazy wind, just takes it and just throws it out into the abyss. And that's what I do to her. I mean, she's technically made of abyss, and I still throw her into the abyss. Throw her right back where she came from, all lost and stuff. And other times, I'm like, I don't know where you are. There have been times where I've legitimately seen her like pop out of like a black goop and hit me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. She also, like, the move where she spins up, she'll like go forward, and then like after she dashes forward, she'll spin up into the air, and it covers a massive chunk of the screen. And if you're already like in the air, your only chance is to dash downward. I'm glad that's an option in this game, and you don't need a charm for it. But it takes up so much of the screen. It's like her hitbox becomes like 82 times as large. Not that big of a deal. That's a nitpick. But honestly, I just have trouble seeing what she's doing sometimes. And there's very strange instances where she'll pop up like black tendrils of the abyss from like below you and on the side of you and on the other side of you. And there's clear areas where you can stand and you're completely safe. And then after the tendrils go down, you or are still going, she's like up in the air, ready to like dive down at you. And it's just like, I didn't even see you there sometimes. It's mostly like a visual clarity thing. I think her moveset is S tier. I think her whole moveset is S tier. There's some annoyances. I think the spin thing, she has way too much coverage. The counter, I don't like the counter. That's something I already put against Lace. It's even worse. Her damage windows are the hardest thing to find. Like when I fought her, at first I was just getting blitzed out, but quickly the hardest thing with this fight became finding damage windows on her. She's just so like teleporting all over the place. Like constantly teleporting in the ground. Same with like when she'll be in the air. Sometimes she'll like fall back down and like go in the ground and splash, and then other times she doesn't. And it's with the same move that she used while in the air. So sometimes you don't know whether to go for a punish or not. And sometimes you'll go for a punish and she'll just disappear and already be like queuing another move on the other side of the screen. So like annoying and visually can be confusing sometimes. It's manageable. You can manage it. I can manage it. But it's annoying enough that she's like not the best in the game. But her moveset is so dynamic and fast and actually has like a pretty wide variety of skills and mix-ups that she could use, even if it is reading the player's positioning and determining what skill it uses or she uses based upon the player's positioning. I think it's perfect. It's also the third rematch, so you've already fought her base forms and understand her moveset enough, so the mix-ups don't feel, or her moveset being as advanced as it is doesn't feel overwhelming, because you've already kind of experienced part of it in the same way with Clover Dancers. So the annoying parts make me not want to even put her into S tier, but it's just that good of a moveset. It's the final boss, and so it makes sense why it's so advanced. But I will say there are things I dislike about it, and things that I think would make it a better fight, especially visual clarity. If she had better visual clarity, then she would she be my favorite? Would I think she's the best boss? I don't know if I'd still say she's better than Carmelita or First Sinner, the Clover or Cogwork, but yeah, I'm gonna keep her at end of S for now. If visual clarity was better, though, I think I'd put her above Widow. at least. I'd probably put her here if I could actually see at all times where she's at. And there wasn't a question, and I don't get confused. Maybe it's kind of a skill issue, but I feel like it's deceptively hard to see her. She's black on black. So for right now, end of S tier. Very good final boss to end the game with. She still is an S tier fight. Very difficult. And I did that one without Plasmium because I felt like, or the Plasmium overdose, because I felt like that was just too powerful. Clutched it out at the end. Took me a long time to finally beat her, and now I kind of just step on her. So, like, clearly really well designed. So, yeah. That is my Hollowknight Silksong boss tier list. As of now, obviously things could change in the future, especially if they add in like a boss rush mode. I might have to like revisit this. I might just remake this quickly, like off stream, and then change it based upon my feelings towards having to fight the bosses again, like in arenas. I don't assume much is going to change. Some of these won't be here. Like I don't think Garmin and Zaza is really a boss. I don't even remember fighting them. I think you just like knock him off Zaza, and then he's like, "Wow, well met, warrior," or something like that, you know. But yeah, that's my tier list. Is there anything that you guys are just like completely triggered by? Like something that's just like absolutely not. Like, why is this here? The Unraveled isn't moving out of S tier. Or F tier, sorry, S tier. The Unraveled isn't moving out of F tier, and Cogwork Dancers aren't like moving out of S, right? Some of those are just set in stone. I don't see how you make an argument, but I don't know. For some of these other ones, I guess I could see somebody being like, Gur was actually pretty decent, right? I take a lot of convincing for me. He just wasn't on the screen. That's the thing. Like, his moveset was okay, and the traps they do test the player, but he just wasn't on the screen. I like didn't even see him. All right, so that's the tier list done and completed. We'll just chat for a second before I move on to whatever I'm moving on to next. It's probably kind of late, but I still have time. Yeah, it's 4:44. I didn't spend 3 hours on this one like I did with the previous. I didn't restart the music either. Start that back up. All right, let's see how long. My thing is bugged right now. Okay, so I did it in 2 hours. Awesome. Let's see you guys make a tier list faster than that. No, okay, but I added a lot of commentary because I like that. Okay, so just discussing of like some quick things. So I actually have been playing a game with a few of my friends. I talked about eventually playing this game. I just wanted to chat a little bit about it. But I got Path of Exile 2. I'd like wanted to play Druid when they first announced it, but like the game was in early access and they didn't have it, and I was like, I'll just wait for the final release and stuff like that. But they actually came out with it. It's still in early access, but they came out with Druid, and one of my friends was like, hey, you gonna play tomorrow? Like, Druid comes out. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, yeah, it's tomorrow. And so I was like, okay. So I've been playing, kind of alone, but just chatting with friends and stuff who are also playing. We played a little bit together, but I'll probably save that for like another go. And it's really strange. There's a lot of things I like about it. A lot of things I don't really feel like the game as a whole is for me, but like a lot of its ideas are. So it has that isometric kind of play style, but you kind of have like MMO powers, essentially, where you're like using them in tandem with one another, in conjunction, and using, well, for Druid, using like the right shapeshift form for the right situation. And then you have like Dark Souls bosses. And with it gets weird when you get further into the game, though, because it becomes less about like your moveset, and you just like use like 2 or 3 skills that just blow things away, you know? Surprise Lost Lace is S tier. Do you think I should knock her down to A? It's too late now. I already placed it. It's too late. I think she's S tier in terms of like design, minus maybe the counter, but I just can't see what's going on super well. If they fix the visual clarity of the fight, I think she deserves the S. Like I said, she's one of the only bosses, actually the only boss in the game that I've been able to fight as much as I want. Because I can reload that save file and fight her again. And I think her moveset is S tier, minus maybe the counter. I just can't always see what's happening. But, like, most of the time I can. Like, I'd say, like, 80... No, it's probably more like 90% of the time after fighting her a few times. I can tell where she's at and where she's going to be. But I also understand why I was so confused when I first fought her and felt like there's just bullshit happening. Because, like, when the tendrils come out of the ground and she's, like, comes out of the tendrils, you don't see her amongst them. It's so confusing. Sometimes I don't know what goes through your mind. You can whine and complain during the whole fight, and then after be like, that was great. I think her moveset was great, but like yeah, I don't know. Wait, okay, did you not have that? What's your thought on Lost Lace? Did you go through, like, after you beat her, where you're like, oh, that was complete trash, like F tier? Or were you like, were you more chill going through? Because, yeah, I complained the whole time. You were not wrong. I was like, I can't see what's going on. She's the main thing was, like, the punish windows. She has, like, so few punish windows. It's so annoying. Maybe she doesn't deserve it. Sure, because she's just as kitey as, like, Chakra, right? Like, in terms of her annoyance. Ah, no, it's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I am way off. She has way more punish windows than Chakra does. I am being completely unrealistic right now. But yeah, I don't know. Are there any bosses that you just complained about the whole time, and then is that just a me thing? Maybe that's just like a me thing. Like, I could just complain about a boss's design for hours and then be like, oh, that was the best thing ever. But the visual side of things is my biggest problem with her now, though. And I want to refight like all of these S tiers as well, and I did. So she's one of the bosses that I would want to fight another time, and I could, because I can just reload the save file. Whereas these other ones, like, I need a rematch. I need a rematch so bad against the Clover Dancers without being juiced, First Sinner, Carmelita. Like, yeah, I need rematches like tomorrow. Thought it was great and thematic appropriate, but it's like the third time oh yeah, you did say that. Third time we fought or in the game, so it feels reused. Sure, it has new moves, but the overall frame is too similar. I will say it was very anticlimactic. For the final boss of Act 3, Lace again? Yeah, that was a weird choice. Like, I think the fight is really good still, but yeah, it's not special at all. That didn't really bother me, but even I feel like they could have done something that made it more special, right? Like I don't know what they could have done. I'm fine with it being Lace, but give her a new moveset. Yeah, it could have been a lot. Like, she could have had a few moves that she originally had, but everything else, like, they could have taken the Void, like, mutates her. Like, they could have given her, like, an extra limb or, like, a tail, but, like, that comes out of her head with, like, a scorpion stinger at the end. Don't do that. Don't do that, Team Cherry. But, like, I'm saying they could have done that and had her have a completely different moveset, like the character's been twisted and mutated by the Void. But instead, it's really just like Lace with Void. So yeah, thematically, it would have been way more interesting to have her just be like completely twisted and messed up. Thematically, I think almost all. I'm trying to think thematics with these bosses, but I think almost all of them do a really good job, like of conveying some sort of theme. I'm noticing now other Trobio's like up a tier from where it is, but the ones that are lower are also kind of inconsequential, aren't they? So yeah, you'd put her in A tier. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I still stand by the S for now, but we'll see. I need a boss rush, and then I can evaluate these guys more. But in terms of like impact and like what they mean for the game, obviously I didn't fight these two. The Unraveled is just nothing, right? It means nothing in terms of story. Garmin Zaza, I don't think this is a real boss fight. Random bug, random bug, random bug scientist that vomits, random bug that has a name Stag, so it's kind of like a deer kind of thing. It's just like a random bug with magic projectiles. Random bug that like spits soul, which is very rare in this universe, and has like gross stuff. This is an actual character. Like this is an actual like crazy chef thing. Actually has personality. Like fat chef that serves up gruel. Like actually kind of cool. Doesn't mean too much for the world, but like has personality. And a flaming effigy, tentacles that come out of the ceiling and shock you. I told you, like F tier to C tier is like really bad, right? A bug that smashes its face on you, a bug that throws claws. Sister Splinter has a little bit more going for her. She's like kind of like a crazy like root predator that like ensnares like other bugs. I don't know, kind of interesting. Broodmother, a little bit more personality, like a crazy mother. The Gruz Mother Slam is funny. Garmin, full character, corrupted, that's fine. Uh Trapper Bug, not much going on there, but kind of like a trapper kind of guy. The Crawfather is just like a Big Daddy Crow. Like not too much going on there too, but like the King of Crows, kind of cool. Kind of a cool idea. Have a whole bunch of ads to Crow Daddy. Um, Trobio, obviously, he's Trobio. He's so fabulous, right? He's so fabulous, over the top, ridiculous character. Has like little dances and stuff like that. Pretends to die when you beat him, and then sneaks away. It's such like this. This is like A tier, if not S tier, like character design and like personality. So actually good, not just like it's a random bug, right? Then Pinterest, obviously full character, has voice dialogue. You fight her, so that one's obviously more impactful. Seth, for obvious reasons, is more impactful. I don't think he has much dialogue. Does he have any? I think a little bit. I think he talks a little bit, but it's very minor. But still a character and like really cool. Chakra, full character, obviously. These are just random bugs. These are just like some random bug things, and they're here in B tier. Interesting. The fourth chorus, a bug robot, got a lot of personality in terms of like his movements and stuff, and like what he means for the world, but really just a bug robot. Belby obvious Ada. Like, come on, it's Ada. Even before that, though, it's a pretty cool fight to see it all strung up. But it really is just like a bug with more, but because it's the Bell Beast, obviously. It means more. This is just a random bug. Let's be real. It looks cool design wise. It's cool, but it's just a mossy bug. Um, Cygnus and Grom, they look very similar to like trash ads. They're like modified versions of the trash ads you already see in that area, so they're not really super special. Bell Eater's just cool looking, right, design wise, but it is just a bug too. Nihilith looks almost grander than all of the other old hearts, right? Khan and Carmelita, like I don't know. She feels almost beyond them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. She's weird. She's like a bug, but she's also a plant, and like has her own kingdom and domain. I guess technically the others kind of do too. I don't know. But really cool character. I kind of wish we got more lore with all three of these. Like I want more lore on the old hearts on all three of them because they're all so cool. Khan, obviously S tier design. I don't know much about his character though, do we? None of them. Like that's why I want to see more. Second Sentinel, obviously a really important character, actual character with dialogue, laced dialogue. Um, Strangely enough, a lot of these don't. Strangely enough, a lot of my S tier picks don't really have too much. Now, obviously, there's a lot of storytelling going on with the Cogwork dancers, and you learn more with the Clover dancers. Sort of basically finalizes like the lore, I guess, of the Green Prince. But you learn a lot more about like their world and stuff. This is like S tier environmental storytelling mixed with a little bit of like exposition, right? But you can just tell the story just by fighting the original Cogwork. Like they're that good. But some of these others, most of these don't have crazy stories. Like I guess Grandmother Silk with, you know, she is the lore of the story. She's integrated into it. Same with like Widow. But these aren't really characters. You know, like Last Judge isn't a character. Grandmother Silk isn't much of a character. Same Phantom. So it's kind of interesting. Like none of these other than Lost Lace and the Clover Dancers really have much of like a story individually to themselves to tell. They might be part of the world, like Widow's obviously part of the world, same with Last Judge. They're not like their own characters. Most of those ended up in my A and B tier. That's interesting. And then almost everything minus Trobio and C and below are just like random bugs. They're just like random bugs. It's so interesting. I don't know if Team Cherry meant to do that on purpose. It's so weird. It's so interesting. I'm kind of surprised by myself sometimes making these observations because you know I'm just sitting here, just reflecting, just kind of chilling. Um, I'm making cookies tomorrow for Christmas Eve, probably like tomorrow afternoon, evening ish. Um, is there anything else I need to do? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. We're hosting Christmas Eve this year. We almost always do Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day is sort of our own things. I'll probably have a little bit of family over, but we don't do like huge family gatherings anymore. We haven't done it for years, so it's more like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But ours was smaller this year too. Like, but I've had Thanksgivings where we have like 30 people. Oh my gosh, it's just like 30 people in a house. You know, I guess it depends upon the house, right? But like it can be quite jammed, you know. So Christmas Eve is usually not that crazy, but we'll have over 10 a lot of times. So, you know, a lot of things to do. Think we're pretty much done decorating. Like dad and I got all our Christmas like decoration bins up, got lights set up. Um So everything's pretty much ready, but yeah, cookies we wanted to be pretty fresh. So Mom and I are doing those tomorrow, probably. Maybe Sunday. I think Sunday my aunt's coming over and we're gonna do. I'm not sure. Cookies. Yeah, I know, right? What are you playing up next? Miroku was actually going to say that. I don't know if he's keeping it a surprise or he wants to wait until after Christmas. Um, but he was picking the next one. He's been pretty excited for it, so I'm down for whatever. I feel like you guys have suggested some really good ones though, because um, some of them I was even unsure about. Like I wanted to play Dead Space remake. I didn't know how good it was, but you guys were just like, "Oh, play it." You like play it right now. Play it and I was like, "Okay." And then it was like such a good choice. I have more horrible boomer shooters from the past millennium for you. Honestly, I am more interested. It's like Half-Life 3 is I guess one of the games of legend as one of my friends puts it because people have been waiting so long for it. But I didn't really love the original Half-Life. I felt like it was, just probably too old, too problematic. But watching the tech demo for the second watching the tech demo for the second actually looks really fun. Like it looks like they've advanced the mechanics like a lot. And the story is interesting, especially like the second half it gets pretty interesting. So, if Half-Life 3 does get announced, I probably have to play 2. And that way I don't get like left behind when 3 releases and like there's the whole hype train. So I probably would have to play 2 at that point. The physics system in Half-Life 2 does a lot of heavy lifting. Back the backbone of the source engine. And I think I knew that because I thought it was in Half-Life 1 the magnet gun. And to know that or whatever it is, something like that, lets you pick stuff up and shoot it. Um some telekinetic thing and that's used in Control. It's used in Dead Space and it all started I think with Half-Life 2 and it's yeah, gravity gun. Yeah. Yeah, the gravity gun. Yeah, and that mechanic has been used in multiple games now that are like legitimately phenomenal. Like controls, I don't know if you guys have played Control, but the telekinetic manipulation to just pick up whatever, rip chunks out of the ground and chuck it. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Like and Dead Space was more limited in what you could really pick up. There was more limitations, but you were more tactical about what you picked up and where you threw it or at what enemies. It's like it was a refinement in choice of what you're throwing. So it didn't just yeah, it wasn't brainless. It actually had thought into it. So that was really good. So I'll probably enjoy Half-Life 2 if not just for that. But if 3 gets announced, I definitely need to play 2. Part of me does think even I've been playing and just hanging out with my friends and enjoying it a lot going through PoE 2. But I do kind of wish I played that on stream just to like share the experience of because it's kind of Souls like at the beginning, but then it just gets crazier and crazier. Oh yeah, Dark Souls 3 on the horizon. I will play Dark Souls 3 this year. Yes. Like maybe that'll be the one after Miroku's game, but Dark Souls 3 I have to play it this year. And since I'm doing tier lists and stuff now, it'd be cool to do that like a tier list I finish too. I'll actually like be ready to do that after I finish the game because if I did Dark Souls 1 and 2 right now, I probably don't remember all of the bosses super well. Also, I think I had said this before, but like I'm actually pretty excited to play Dark Souls 3, like more than I was for some of the other like more than 2. I was hyped for 1 when I did it because I wanted things to be scaled back from the craziness of Elden Ring. I was stepping into like an older kind of game design, and it held up so well. It's like immaculate how well its design holds up. I see why, you know, it's people's favorite games, or it started basically a genre, because it has like that magic to it, you know. It's one of those games that's so easy to just get lost in its world, and probably one of my favorite dark fantasy universes ever. Because normally I like fantasy a lot. I'm more into high fantasy, but dark fantasy is kind of like, it's more like rustic too, like dark rustic, but its world is anything but like cliche, right? There's so much lore into Dark Souls, and it's not like a cliche story. It's its own unique thing, its own lore, and it's expanded upon kind of with 2, though I found 2's story to be a lot more confusing. Like, I don't know if I haven't watched a video on like the lore of Dark Souls 2. I understand 1 quite well, but 2? Yikes. And you know what? There's a Kingfield retrospective video. It's like an hour long. I'm going to post it in Discord. You might like to see the Dark Souls grandfather. Yeah, that's fine. Because I watch those when I'm just like, you know, farming or whatever in a game, or just kind of like chilling. If I'm going through maps in PoE, I'd probably like watch that. If there isn't a lot of visuals though, I'd probably like watch it when I'm eating something. So I don't always eat at like my computer, but at night sometimes I will, and it's just kind of, I like to have something just kind of playing that's not, you know, not like too attention grabby, because I'm looking down at food, or, you know, I might pause a lot to go grab something else. But oh my gosh, it's actually 3 hours. It's the whole Kingfield franchise. Oh my gosh. Okay, that one's gonna take a while to chew through. Fair warning. Oh my gosh. I wonder how much of the design team, like at this point, has like played those games, like worked on them or played them. Because obviously that had influence on like Dark Souls 1, but like what about now? What about like in 2021 when Elden Ring released? Right? The base version of Elden Ring. Like there's probably not a ton of devs that worked on those games, right? Maybe I'm way off. Maybe it's full of a bunch of guys that were like, I wouldn't imagine so. Let me ask Grok. It'll probably give you a pretty reasonable answer. I would assume so, anyways. Because, you know, having legacy devs is something a lot of studios like celebrate, shall we say. So, might give you a straight answer. It might be like, there are 12 left. I'm gonna restart the Silksong playlist. I love the soundtrack. So wait, I should do a Hollowknight. Or just like chilling and chatting. But yeah, so Dark Souls 3, I've probably said this, but I did so little research on 2. I went in like completely blind, and I think that's good. But like, do you remember when I first started and like I didn't put any points into adaptability or whatever it was called, ADP, and I like got absolutely squished? I was like getting squished by stuff, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm dodging through that, right? But yeah. So that stuff, and the thing that I really think about that I should probably do a tad bit more research is pyromancies apparently in Dark Souls 2 scaled off of faith and intelligence. And was it faith? Is that what they called it in the game? I know that's how it works in Elden Ring. I think so. But it was off of the two different magic stats, and that's what determines its power. And I just thought it was poorly balanced. I thought it was just bad. I stopped using my pyromancies for the most part, like halfway through the game, because my damage was poo-poo. And I was like, wow, they did such a better job in the first one. And I was wrong. I think it was just this, yeah, it scales off of both. But I didn't know that, and I already know that that's a thing in Dark Souls 3. I don't remember where I learned that from, where I heard it, but it immediately was like, oh, I need to do a little bit more research before going in completely blind. Like, I should have known that's why my fireballs were so bad in that game, and like just course corrected and like changed but I never figured that out, so I just stopped using pyromancies as much because I thought they were bad. In Dark Souls 1 though, they fell off pretty hard in New Game Plus because they couldn't scale off of your stats. You were already hitting stat caps anyways, but man, they fell off really hard aside from like the giant fireballs in Dark Souls 1, which is kind of sucky because I liked the system of you only have a certain number of shots, so you got to make them count. That system's pretty interesting. Same with heal flasks. Basically, everything's resource-based in Dark Souls. In Elden Ring, it's resource-based too, kinda. None of the core developers credited on the original Kingsfield games. Kingsfield 1, 2, and 3 worked on Elden Ring. Wow. They all died or moved on? Well, I guess technically dying could be a way of moving on, but that's not what I meant there. You know what I mean? Wow. Kind of crazy. 20 years, it's an eternity? Yikes. 20 years as game dev, they're all retired at that point. Even if they weren't, they probably are retired, right? Did the Kingsfield games sell well? I know nothing about them. This retrospective is going to be crazy to watch. I mean, I've like seen the screenshots. I think you sent a small video showing what it was once before. So I know I've seen something of Kingsfield and I was like, wow, that's something. And it's like, wait, how did this develop into Demon Souls and Dark Souls? Because those games, I know they came out years and years later, but those like very different kind of games. Maybe some like similar themes, similar like architectures in the world, but kind of their, they're very much their own thing. They can't really be compared too easily. I wonder how Duskbloods is going to sell. Because, like, Duskbloods to me, I was on board. Like, 100%. I was so hyped. I kind of still am, to an extent, kind of hyped for it. But I don't have a Switch 2. And I thought when the Switch 2 got announced, and especially because they released with a new Mario Kart, I'd get the Switch 2. I didn't think there was any like question. But then like the new Mario Kart game ended up being $80. And like the console was more expensive than I wanted as well. It's like the console's more expensive. If I want the physical edition of Mario Kart World, it'd be like extra $80. And I was like, I don't know. And then like reviews for the new Mario Kart have been kind of all over the place, right? They've been not like all over the place, but like kind of. A lot of people just say it doesn't have quite as much content as Mario Kart 8, and that's fair. It had tons of DLCs over years, so how are you going to be better than that, right? When you just came out fresh. But then like they've had multiple Nintendo Directs, and they haven't announced any new content for the game. So it's like, It's $80, expensive console, not definitively better than the previous game, no new content on the horizon, right? So I didn't get it, and I'm still not super, like, I don't feel the need for it. Then, Pokemon's coming out. Pokemon's having a new Legends game, Legends ZA, that's to release, also with the console the same year. And Pokemon Legends Arceus was probably the most fun, one of the most fun, if not the most fun, just directly, Pokemon game that they've had in like forever. Had issues, had a lot of issues, but it was really fun. And so a new Legends game comes out, and it looks so much worse than Arceus. It's insane. It's just, it's insane. The first one you could like ride on different Pokemon. You had all these different biomes. You had the weird time dilation storm things where Pokemon from different eras would like show up and stuff like that. And everything was novel. Everything was novel about it. It was all unique mechanics, and you were hiding in the grass catching Pokemon. And then like the new one, you're like in a circular city. You can't, it's in a city, but you can't go into like hardly any buildings. And like there's NPCs in the city, but they stand around. They don't have like any walking cycles. And that was like fine for a single town in Arceus, but they like did a whole city of NPCs that don't move in the game. And it's just like, it's just not good. Like, you can say whatever you want about it. It might be kind of fun, but like it's so crappily designed, and it's just a step down from Arceus in like every way. And I'm not really like, I'd rather go play Arceus again. Like, I've seen the gameplay for ZA. I'd rather go play Arceus. Like, just in my opinion. So I'm not getting the new Pokemon game either. And so it's like there's this big release of a console that I should have been super excited for, if nothing else than just for Mario Kart. I don't even care. It's like, how did we get here? How did this timeline happen? Am I still online? I'm getting an error. Yeah, I should be. Let me refresh my page. It says my bitrate is unstable. I wonder if it's the weather. You guys still hear me? Yeah, I think there may be something weird going on with the net. Maybe all the wind? Maybe all the wind's doing that. Because, yeah, it's not showing it's good on my end. It says it's unstable. Like, I'm live, but it's unstable. The map organizer and writer for the original Kingsfield 1 and 2. Interesting. Map organizer. Executive producer of the Kingsfield appears in Elden Ring as additional crew. Additional crew? I hear you, but you sound like... okay, that's too... I was gonna say, okay, I sound like a goober? No, I don't. What is it? Okay, my voice... Can we just be real? My voice, like, it's not the same, like, every day, is it? I feel like my voice changes from, like, day to day. Like, sometimes it's higher, and sometimes it's lower. If I, like, shout, if I'm, like, at a baseball game or something, and I'm, like, shouting a whole bunch, then the next day, like, I feel... Well, for one, my throat just hurts because I was shouting too much. But then it's like all kind of low like this. Okay, it's not that low, but I don't know. I feel like it's really variable. I don't know. It all sounds the same to me. That's actually good, probably, because it's kind of weird to think that from day to day. I feel like it's different from day to day, but I don't know. I'm also not like listening to myself all the time, if that makes sense. A little bit when I go back and watch my VODs, like when I'm getting them like set up and stuff like that. But I'm wondering if the reason why I am having the bitrate issue is because of the wind, because I can hear it right now. Like, I'm inside like my house, like actual boxed in, and I hear the wind from outside in my room with headphones on, listening to the Hollowknight soundtrack. And I still hear the wind. It's that crazy. I'm just glad they didn't shut down my power, like, personally. Like, that's good. I don't have, like, a personal backup generator or anything like that. I know some people have, like, their own, like, personal generators, and it's kind of interesting, but I don't think that I've personally lost power in, like, the last... I want to say, like, 5 years. We've had, like, maybe an outage for, like, a few minutes, but, like, an actual, like, power outage where we're, like, you know, in the dark... It's been a while. 5 more days till Christmas? I know, right? I know, right? It's actually crazy. You guys do anything special for the holidays? Are you getting together with family? Or are you guys making cookies? I already said I'm making. I didn't even say what kind of cookies that Mom and I are making. Dad was wanting crinkle tops or ginger snaps. So Mom has a recipe from like an old work friend that we've used in the past that makes them like not hard. They're like super soft ginger snaps, which is like really different. And our family really likes those, so we'll do those for sure. I don't know what else we're doing though. And then for my aunt's Christmas party, which is usually even bigger than Christmas Eve in terms of like family get together like size, because she really tries to make it so where everybody can like show up, even if people are like, you know, traveling around and stuff like for the holidays or going to the side of the family. So that's usually our biggest one, and we did 2 cookies for that, which was caramel filled snickerdoodles and like a peanut cake bar. Hard to explain. It's not really peanut cake. It's not really a bar, but it's like a peanut cake. It's really good. Not sure. Not sure either. We haven't really discussed what we're making in terms of like a main entree. We usually don't do like a main entree for Christmas Eve, but we usually have like something, you know, we have little smokies or we'll maybe do like a you know, meatball dish or something. But we did that for my aunt's party, so probably not that one. I'm not sure. Probably have to discuss it with the fam. It's coming up close. We got to do one last round of shopping. Get a whole bunch of ingredients. We need more eggs. And then, yeah. I don't know. I hope you guys have a good time with your family. If I don't see you then, I'll put something in chat. I'll try to remember to put something in the Discord. But yeah, I mean, you know, we don't get to see all of our family all the time, so it's nice when we just get, you know, more opportunities to be around one another. Probably more turkey and tamales. That sounds really good. And yes, we'd be having turkey on Christmas. That's actually not that uncommon. That's pretty standard. In the past, for a Christmas day, most of my family would do ham because turkey was, you know, very much associated with Thanksgiving, and people were a little bit turkeyed out, and it, you know, they just wanted to make it different. So we usually did Thanksgiving turkey and Christmas ham. That was just standard. Maybe we'll do it this year too. Maybe we'll get a ham. That does sound pretty good, because like I said, Christmas Day is usually just like 4 or 5 people at my place. People kind of break off into their own like you know, close family and do their own thing, right? Mothers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We usually just have my aunt over. Usually, but I mean, you know, maybe one of my other cousins shows up or something. I'm not sure. If they needed somewhere to go, we'd have enough food. Might just spend it over at Red Slap's house. What? What? Where did that come from? Did you get permission? You can't just invite yourself. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Do you guys have snow where you're at? You know what's weird? I had one. He invited me over in my dreams. I don't know how to respond to that. Your dreams are quite something. So technically I'm invited. Technically your dream self is invited. I think that means you can only show up in his dreams. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be weird if like on Christmas Eve? Oh wow, that's too weird. I live in the South Hemisphere, so I don't have a white Christmas. I have a scorching, smoldering Christmas. Oh man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd have to travel somewhere where it's at least, it feels like winter, right? That's all I've known though. Right? That's part of it though. That's like all I've known. And okay, so we don't have any snow right now. It's just like crazy wind, right? We had a snow on the 3rd of December, the day after my birthday. It's like 2 or 3 inches. It melted. We haven't had any more. We've had 0 snow for like the last, 20 days or, 17, 16 days. What is it, the 19th today? Whatever. You get the idea. We just haven't had any more. Nothing. It hasn't even been that cold, really. No snow over here, but the past 3 days it's been warm. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do the scorching, like hot Christmas. It's just not what I know. I'd want to go somewhere and, have at least it be cold and maybe kind of drizzly. It could even no, rain doesn't sound right either. Maybe like sleet. I'll take the snow. I don't even love snow, but like I love being inside with like family by the fire and then looking out the window and seeing everything all covered in snow. It's like perfect. I don't know. You can't control the weather though. You can't control the weather. If it's gonna be warm on Christmas, it's not gonna be warm enough to like just go outside without a jacket and just like have good time outside, but probably at least could enjoy yourself a little bit when you get outside and go for a walk. At least go out for a walk. Oh my gosh. When Trajan was still alive, there were some, I don't know if it was on Christmas, but somewhere around that time where we'd get insane snowstorms. And like, he wasn't a very big dog. Like he's a small little guy. And it would just be like bunny hopping through the snow. It would like cover his like basically like whole body, right? So we'd have to clear some spots for him so he could at least like go out back and pee and stuff. But like when we would go for walks, he loved the snow. He just roll around in it like crazy. Loved the snow. He hated heat. Like even when he was shaved down to like his skin, never ever liked the heat at all. He only liked the cold. Loved the snow. It's like very snow-based dog. Good for a white dog, I guess. Except you couldn't really see him sometimes when he was all covered in snow. But, yeah. I guess the reason I bring that up is, if you have a dog, it doesn't matter how cold it is, it doesn't matter how snowy it is, they have to go outside, and you should probably give them walks too, especially if they're kind of high energy. You need to take them for walks, so. But since he passed, like, if it's snowing on Christmas, I don't think I'll probably go outside, I have cats. You can walk cats. I've seen people walk cats before. None of the cats I know, personally, from my personal life, would want to be taken out for a walk. Probably. Like, I can't see it. I can't see it. Some of them are pretty skittish, but my friend's cat, oh my gosh, her cat was so... She had a few, and they were so social. They're more like dogs. They were so great. Really part of the family instead of being kind of skittish or wanting to go like lick the wall or something, Those people are freaks. Yeah, those people are freaks I stay away from. Oh, come on, it's not that weird. Like, it is pretty rare, though. I think cats they kind of find their own entertainment. But, I mean, if they're being destructive in the house, and cats can be, some cats can be really high energy, too. One of my friends, his cat is, like, super high energy. It's still pretty young, but his cat is super high energy. It's like, take it for a walk. Like, I don't know how you would train a cat to go for a walk, though. But, could you imagine? I've always wondered what it would be like running into a dog on a walk with your cat. You know, like you're walking your cat and you run into, like, the dogs don't like that probably, right? Like they freak out. Now, some dogs are really good with cats because they live with them, but others would be like not having it. So you'd have to be careful for that. And I assume it would freak out a lot of cats too. They'd be like, I don't ever want to go out again because there are those big, you know, creatures barking at me. Like, no thanks. Really, I don't even think I have any friends or family that let their cats free roam either. I guess my family that lives in Maine, they let their cats just kind of free roam. And, you know, sometimes they wouldn't come back. Sometimes they'd probably, like, you know, it's hard to say, but they'd probably, you know, not live. It's a nice way of saying it. You know, the cats, they get into trouble when they're away. Sorry, my nose was, like, itching and stuff there. Cats are trouble? Yeah, they can definitely be trouble. I cat sat for my neighbors for years and years and years, and so they were comfortable with me, but, you know, not, like, super comfortable. The one would, like, follow me around the house, like me to turn on the sink so that he could drink out of it, jump up on the sink, just kind of hang out, you know, play a little bit, especially when he was a kitten, loved to play, right? But the other cat, she didn't really want to have anything to do with me, right? She would tolerate me. She would sit in the same room as me. She was, like, comfortable with me being in her space, but, you know, didn't really care for me to, like, you know, pet her or anything like that. Just was fine with me being there. But she did not like it when they went on vacation and would poop on the carpet. And it, like, her litter box was kept clean. I'd empty it every single day. And but she would just poop on the carpet. And we didn't, like, there was nothing we could do. We figured she was just kind of, like, mad, right? She was just a mad cat. So one day they're home from vacation. I'm in their house with them. They hadn't been home for very long, maybe like 2 days. We're just hanging out in the room, and the cat's been using the litter box because they're home. She's in the same room as us. We're just visiting. Her tail goes up, and then and she just, like, they're just, like, falling out of her all over the carpet. And my neighbors, like, they both just, like, freaked out because they'd never seen their cat do that, like, ever. And she was in the same room as us. She was just chilling. She was laying on the couch, like, moments before. We were all just visiting, so she wasn't, like, scared or freaked out. I don't know if she was just mad or whatever, but yeah, just went right over and started just taking a shit on the floor. And they like freaked out. They you know, raised their voices. They didn't, like, whack or anything, but they, like, she ran off, probably to use the litter box like she should have. And they had no words. And I had never seen her do that either. Like, I'd only come over to their house, you know, for a few hours or whatever, and I never saw her, like, go on the carpet. But yeah, right in front of them, and they had never seen that before. So yeah, labeling cats as trouble is probably the right thing to do, because you just, they're so much more unpredictable a lot of times than dogs, it feels. At least from my experience with them, they feel more unpredictable. They're more moody, right? Sometimes they want to cuddle. Sometimes they're like, get away from me, right? Sometimes they're just meowing at everything. Sometimes they're like laying on your desk, you're trying to do something, and they're like, okay, now's a good time for you to pet me, right? And then they're just like, you know what I mean? It's like, dogs are way more simple in that they always want to be pet, they always want to go for walks, they always want treats. They're just like always like active, you know what I mean? And that's more predictable. A lot of work though. Dogs are so much more work than cats. You can't just like put food out and leave for the day. You're like, dogs can do that, right? But like, you know, cats are far more independent. Dogs are far more predictable. So yeah, I think that's what makes pets fun, right? Like maybe I should get a cat. I should get a cat at some point, maybe next year. 2026 year of the cat, maybe. I need to get a job if I'm gonna get a pet. I can't afford a cat. I can barely afford my student loans. Like all the work that I did is, you know, I still have that money. It's not like it disappeared or anything, but you know, the freaking loan. That's what makes it so bad. I don't spend a whole lot of money. I'm pretty conservative. I think you kind of need to be. Everything's so expensive right now. Like, I don't know. Yeah, price go up. I always say that, price go up, but it never go down. And that's pretty annoying. I'm very, very, very glad for, you know, Steam with games and having a lot of sales. And for studios like Team Cherry that released Silksong for like $20. I could have never imagined to get so much content out of a game that's that price. It's insane. Like, actually, gaming is such a cheap hobby when you think about it. In general, it's super cheap hobby. It depends. Some cats come with random traits. Some cats are clingy. Some aren't. Yeah. Some are assholes. So you get what you pay for, I guess. Yeah, but you never know what you're gonna get, you know? So you can't get what you pay for if you never know what kind of cat you're getting, right? I guess certain species of cats have more... In general, black cats are far more sociable and far more insane. As insane is the best way to put it. They meow more, they want more pets, they want to eat things more that they're not supposed to. They want to scratch things more they're not supposed to scratch. Like they're the higher energy cat. I like that personally. Like I'd probably get a black cat after like having a few friends, and one of my neighbor's cats was a black cat too, the more sociable one that would like want to follow me around and want me to be in the same room when he ate and stuff like that. Although I have another friend, she's got like big, poofy, fluffy white cats. And they also seem like really like friendly and needy for attention too. They're older though, so I don't know if that counts. Not sure about that. Orange cats take the cake. You think orange cats are crazier? I don't think I've ever had a friend that had an orange cat. My cousin did, Simba, but I only met Simba once because they weren't in our state, and he was really old. Friendly cat, but very old. Orange cats are far worse. They're devious. Oh no, devious cats. Wait, really? Like, what do they do? I guess I'd label black as like high energy. That's different than being devious. Devious is like actually like scratching things and biting on things and just being kind of a nuisance. Okay, so basically what I said, but much more extreme. Yep. Just destroy your house. You leave for work, come back. It's just everything's ripped up. I had my aunt, the dog unfortunately passed. This is years ago. I was pretty young. But she had a dog. It was Dingo Shiba Inu like mix. Mostly Dingo though. If you didn't see her tail, if you didn't see Maggie's tail, you would think that she was just a dingo, straight up. Like, not joking. much more wild than you would think a pet was. She would jump their, was it 6-foot fence? I think it was 6 or 7-foot fence, clear it easily, like easily. Be in the neighbor's yard. She went into their house a few times. They had dogs and they were fine with it because they were on good terms. Yeah, just jump into their yard. She got out multiple times because of that. It's like, what do you do about that? But when they first got her, super separation anxiety. And I remember we went out garage sailing one time. Like my aunt and my mom and myself. Once again, I was pretty young. And we came back in, fluff and stuffing everywhere. And it wasn't her toy. She ripped the couch to pieces. The couch cushion, everything, the stuffing inside of it, all over the room. She destroyed the entire thing. Like, it was crazy. Like, she got over it over time. But like I said, she was basically like a hybrid between like a regular dog and like a wild animal, like really like a wild dingo. But yeah, when separation anxiety, like when they first got her, oh my gosh, was she destructive. They couldn't leave her alone after that. Like they just didn't trust her to leave her alone because she would just lose her crap. She was a good dog though. She actually really was, but she kind of needed me in a way. Especially when they first got her, because, you know, I was young and crazy, and I'd run around with her and drain her energy, so she wasn't as much of a monster. But yeah, without me like running around and like constantly like, you know, being a kid around a dog, like she'd just get into too much trouble, and leaving her alone, they just couldn't do that. So I miss Maggie. That was a long time ago. I think she had some form of cancer in her stomach, which is technically, I guess, what happened to Trajan too. Like multiple tumors, and there was nothing they could do. With Maggie, I think they caught it too late. With Trajan, it was just like a lot of growth. But yeah, I don't know. Cats and dogs can both be very destructive. That's why you should get a pet lizard. Like, nobody ever complains about bearded dragons as pets, right? I mean, you can't really. What are you gonna do with a bearded dragon like as a pet though? You can kind of hang out with them. They'll tolerate you. They'll tolerate you. Maybe even like you a little bit, especially if you give them like a cricket or something, right? Like, you know, it's not quite the same with social interaction as like with a dog or a cat. And I've never known anyone in my family. I had a friend who had a pet rat. Well, actually, it was his brother who had a rat growing up, and it seemed pretty friendly. But I've never known anyone to have like rodents, right? Hamsters or some sort of like weasel or something. Probably pretty good pets too, because they're pretty popular. I think they're smarter than people give them credit for. Man, this theme is really haunting. Switched over to my other tab, and it's playing the Soul Sanctum theme. I don't know. I kind of forgot about this theme, because I was thinking like the only organs in Silksong is really from Phantom, and everything to deal with the organ area, right? That connects Bilewater and, is it White Ward? It like leads into Bilewater, but I think it leads into like the White Ward, or not the Cogwort Cord, the Underworks. I forget how that connects. The world is so big, like it's easy to get lost. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get off pets for a second, but I don't know. I'm just having fun chatting. What are we doing for time right now? 5:46. Okay, I at least need to AFK for a second and check with my folks what's going on. I want to see what they want to do for dinner. I need to, like, you know, go get something or what we're doing, so I'm gonna BRB a sec. Okay, I am back. I did see your chat before I left. I could have played Lords this whole time. I think I still have it downloaded. Let me see. I do. I will start it. I'm probably gonna be like a half an hour-ish. Mom and Dad decided that they're gonna like cook tonight, so they're doing spaghetti, but it's not gonna be for a while. Now, the last time I tried launching this game, and before that, I already told you I had severe issues where it would take like 15 minutes to like start. So we'll see if it still takes 15. If it does, we can just sit here chatting. But hopefully they patched that out, because that was really annoying. Also, Lords of the Fallen 2. Oh my gosh, I'm actually really hyped. Like, I don't know if you guys are hyped for that, but I don't know. That was such a big game. Like, that was another one. Doing the third playthrough, it kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit, but I had so much fun with it. I had so much fun with it. It's such an underrated gem in the genre. It does so much right. I think its bosses are some of the best out of any Souls game I've ever played. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it was great. I don't know what you said most definitely too. Probably like everything I said there. But it was around for a long time on the channel, and it's just like so I don't know. They did just so much right. I am so hyped for that sequel. Most definitely underrated. Yeah, 100%. And the fact that they've put in so much work to it, but there's also like little secrets. Like, I didn't know that pressing R1 and L1 and R2 did like a special attack with your weapon, and then you'd get like certain weapons like that bell thing I had that would like shoot out a whole bunch of like projectiles and like drill people and just blitz them out. I did like a PvP day one time, didn't I? 2014 Lords of the Fallen is the most goober Souls game ever. The most goober, are you sure about that? Oh, I think it's set up. Oh my gosh. I need to get my controller. Oh my gosh, this is so loud. Holy bonkers, that's so loud. Okay. I need to get my controller for a second. Oh my gosh. I have Lords of the Fallen here. It's not, I'm just looking at a black screen right now. Wait. Do you guys see anything? I don't hear anything or see anything. I see nothing. It's 95% off right now. Yeah, I don't see anything. I hear it. Okay, I see it now. I see it on my end. It's all black. Yeah. I don't know why it's doing that. I might need to restart stream. It shouldn't be like that. I should be fine. It's $149. Game of the Year edition. Game of the Year edition. I don't know what's going on here. Um... Yeah, well, first of all, can I turn the sound down? Like, holy crap. Okay, we're putting it down to 0 just for a second, just till I get things set up. What the heck? Alright, I'll delete this. How do I delete this? Yeah, if it's 149 on Steam, I should buy it. How long is the game? Because I'd probably like it if I like the OG, right? Oh man, I think I might have to... I think I might have to exit out of stream to like display it. Because like I don't know what's going on right now. Unless I try deleting this. How do I delete it? Remove? Okay, that's probably it. The games. And then Lords of the Fallen. And it's still black. Maybe I have to run it as admin? Like any other Souls game, 25 to 30 hours to beat. Oh, weird. I turned the volume down and it still had full... loud. Oh my gosh. I see it, but I don't see it on my stream. Completely black. Okay, maybe this isn't happening today. I don't know what to do. It's just not working. I see nothing. Restart stream. I think I have to do that, and I have to restart the game, I think. I think there's something wrong. Because it's not picking up the game. Right. Yeah, let me restart stream. I can rename stream, too.